Welcome to the Feminine Mistake Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nicole, and today I'm joined by
Hillary.
And our special guest today, we have
Topher Payne.
We have Topher Payne, playwright and screenwriter Topher Payne. Thank you for joining us, Topher.
It is so cool to be here.
Oh my
so
God.
excited.
We're so excited to have you and to be talking about this bananas movie that is completely
I'm
insane.
really honored to be here to discuss an American classic.
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
I have so many feelings about this movie. Before we get into it, of course, you'll notice, listeners, that Sarah's not here tonight. Unfortunately, she was not able to be here for this recording, which I know she's really disappointed about because this movie is fucking insane.
It's so crazy.
So,
Are you sure she's not protesting the inclusion?
No,
of this?
she was so excited to talk about this. Okay, so tonight's film, I guess we've been dancing around it, okay?
But I'm
Oh, I
bumped.
see what you did there.
We've been dancing around it. It's Striptease, 1996, the infamous film with Demi Moore. Armand Sante?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Playing a Cuban.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you do in Miami.
As you do in 1996 when you're an Italian-Irish actor.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a little looser back then.
Yeah.
There was less
there
concern
was more
over...
room. Everyone in the movie is so tan, it really becomes a moot point. You know?
That's
It
true.
really does.
So true.
Oh
I know we're dying to talk about it. So before we get into it, let's talk about our experiences with Striptease prior to the show. Hillary.
I had never seen this movie before. I didn't think it was something else, but
Yeah, as you usually do.
I know. I just knew that Demi Moore was in it, and there were lots of boobs.
So many
and
boobs.
So many boobs.
I wasn't allowed to see it growing up. That's what I knew about this movie.
So, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
So, fresh eyes.
Fresh.
So fresh. Okay. Topher, you have a history with this film, don't you?
I do. I was 15 when this movie came out, and I saw it with two of my guy friends. We had seen Showgirls, which came out a few months before this. They were I think they were in the same year. Showgirls
They
might
were
have been
contemporaries
95.
for sure. Yeah.
And Striptease was billed as a comedy. Showgirls was billed as a drama.
Yeah.
And Showgirls ended up being a movie you laughed at, and then Striptease was a movie that you didn't really. But but we were all there for boobs. And
And it delivers.
oh yeah,
does.
it totally delivers. But like I had like a serious moment of self-reckoning watching this movie.
Oh, wow.
Where I realized how clinical my gaze was
Oh, my God.
on all of this like supple nubile female flesh.
Yeah.
And I was like, good to know. And it really like sent me down a very specific path. Curiously enough, Demi Moore was married to Bruce Willis at this time, and he had Color of Night in, I think, 1994, which was the
Yes.
movie where he was fighting to show his dick.
It was the first
And-
movie where there was dick in
Yeah.
a mainstream movie.
How have I
Right.
not seen this movie?
Oh,
It is
I had.
terrible.
God.
And so I was able to even compare and contrast my sexual response
To
to
both
the Willis Moore marital.
the spouses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go like,
Few of us
one's
get that
doing, like,
opportunity.
I wanted to see Color of Night so bad. And and I did several times. And Striptease like then became a lovely counterpoint. I'm like, and now you know things.
Yeah, it's a way to learn things about yourself. Really,
And so
when it comes
this
down
movie
to it.
ended up staying with me for like 20 years after that because of that very specific moment I had in the movie theater where I was like, especially like
File
seeing
that
how
away
the
in the
guys
Rolodex.
I was with were responding
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like the mesmerizing power of those breasts.
They
and
were
those are
mesmerizing.
magnificent.
God.
I mean, yeah, they are for sure nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many boobs in this movie.
I know there's so
But
many
they were
movies in
all
this movie.
amazing.
I know, but I can't stop thinking. Okay, I know
They
we
were
haven't
all
started, but
amazing, but like
Well-
literally amazing.
Yeah.
Like not in like a. There is nothing in this movie, and I don't think it's just like, you know, because I'm some gay dude. Like, there's nothing in this movie that really provokes a sexual.
No, and I want to get
response.
into that so bad. So
Okay,
before
okay,
we
I'm
get there,
sorry,
but
I'm
yes,
sorry, I'm sorry, I'm
no.
sorry.
I
No,
love
I
that
agree.
you
Yeah.
said that because I agree 100%, and I think it's one of the underappreciated things about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had never seen this movie up until like a week ago when we decided. Well, we had decided longer than that, but when I watched it a week ago, it was something I was aware of. I was let's see, this came out in '96, so yeah, I was about 15. Yeah, I was about 15 when this came out. I didn't see it, but I was. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big to do.
They promoted the hell out of this
Well, it wasn't
movie.
just that. It was that it was like this how the audacity of Demi Moore to
Yeah.
be in her 40s, I think, at this time.
She was in her
late
40s?
40s?
30s. She was in her late
Okay.
30s.
Well, she had
Yeah.
2 children.
Three.
Okay, so she had 3 children, and listeners, if you want to go on the web, take a look at my body, take a look at Demi Moore's body, you will see the difference. The audacity of Demi
Take a
Moore.
look at human bodies.
Right.
Take a look at Demi's
Somebody who
body.
can't
Yeah.
spend money on a trainer all day long.
Yeah, so that was I had heard of it. I didn't know
You knew
anything
of its
about
infamy.
it. I knew of its infamy, exactly. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So, okay. That was our experience with Striptease. Prior to the podcast, let's get into talking about this movie.
The movie that made me gay.
You seem sort of distant.
Let's just do it, all right?
You look stupid and rich.
The house is a mess, Jack. The kids are a mess, Jack. You're a mess, Jack.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York.
Fascist.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, Striptease, 1996.
I was 36 years old.
You were 36 years old. You
Remember it well.
were stripping also at the Eager Beaver.
I was. Yeah. Actually, I was at the
You
You
were
were
at
at
the
the
Flesh Farm.
Flesh Barn. The Flesh Farm. Was it Flesh Farm or Flesh Barn?
Oh, I thought it was Flesh Farm.
I did write
I
it
thought
down.
was Flesh Farm too.
It probably was.
I don't know.
It
When we
definitely
get
rolls
there-
off the tongue. I did
Yeah.
write it down
We'll
at
get
some
there.
point.
Whatever. I watched it with the subtitles on. I'm sure I wrote it down right.
Yeah,
when we
I'm
get
sure you
there.
did. I feel like the movie right off the bat is like boobs. If you
Yeah.
came for the boobs,
Here you go.
Here you go.
this is what this
We
movie
put you
is.
through that 2-minute court case. Here you go.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
immediate boobs.
And then we see Dina Waters as Monique Jr. dancing to Billy Ocean in lingerie, which I'm like, okay,
I'm
Billy
into the
Ocean.
song,
I'm
yes.
into the
I
song.
like the
I could-
song, but it made me so sad. She was like a little girl, and like her name was even like Junior, and I was like, oh my god, no.
Makes you wonder what
baby.
happened to Monique, though. I did
I
love
know.
those little details. Like,
Yeah.
this was a screenwriter that was trying. I
Yeah.
don't know what they were trying for specifically.
Well, the guy who directed it also wrote it.
I did not realize
and it was
he
based
did the
on a book.
adaptation.
He adapted
the
the
Carl
book. Yeah,
Hiaasen
yeah,
book.
yeah.
I really want to read this book. Is it on Audible? I'm gonna find
Probably.
it. I'm gonna
Oh my
find
god, if Demi reads it.
That would be amazing.
it. Oh my god.
Actually,
Striptease.
I'd really like Burt Reynolds to read
very
it. I'd really
solemnly.
like Burt Reynolds to read it, but as Davy Dilbeck.
Oh my god.
Like he needs to
hear that
read
southern drawl. throughout the
That's
whole
what I
time.
want.
That like South Florida drawl.
And then Tiffany,
mm-hmm.
the dancer with the cute little page boy haircut,
Yeah.
Yeah.
played Penny in Showgirls.
Yes.
She was in both
Oh.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved all that. I thought they were very sweet.
Yeah.
There was a real camaraderie back there. I appreciated because I feel like often women in a situation where their like body is on display, I feel like, or even attractive women are often put into situations where in movies where there's cat fights and they don't get along and these women were very supportive
Yeah.
and loving with each other, and I appreciated that.
Right.
They were some of the people working in that club were some of the nicest people in the movie, which I think
Right.
was on purpose.
Right.
I think so too. And go
But
ahead.
why are the routines at the Eager Beaver so bizarrely misguided?
Can we talk about them right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I want to
please.
talk about all of them,
I want to
including
talk
Demi
about.
Moore's.
I want to talk about Sabrina doing her Grisabella from Cats.
Yeah,
Yes.
why is she dressed like a character from Cats? I don't know. Like what strip club? And
I
it's like
don't
this
know.
old timey
It's in this,
cat
like-
song that she plays.
This strip club it reminded me of like the Claremont, if the Claremont like hired actual attractive people to do the ridiculous shit that they do there.
That's
You know?
true.
Like
That's
if the
true.
Claremont
That's really
was filled with a
interesting.
bunch of hot ladies, that would be the Eager Beaver.
That would be more fun
You know?
if.
Is that what it's called?
But then why would Erin have to? I mean, Erin was a secretary at the FBI. I don't know if you guys
I know
know.
she did
And-
say that a bunch of times.
And
Who had no skill. She couldn't type or
Right, could not
file.
do it. I mean,
right?
I
a job
It's like
anywhere
how do you
else.
jump from
She needed fast money.
secretary?
She needed
I mean, they
fast
did
money.
say that
I
over and
get
over
it.
again, but like,
Yeah, but like, there's a preschool somewhere hiring, and they need a file clerk. You know,
Also-
like I could get a job at a preschool tomorrow.
Also,
it's like,
like-
the perfect
But you're not going to
starting
get
over
$6
job.
grand
A
in
night.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
In a
that's
night
true.
with
Right.
a congressman. Yeah.
But with Erin, okay, Erin, if you're gonna take the job at the Eager Beaver, then like clearly she's committed to it. I mean, she's putting together some routines.
She seems like she
she's doing
enjoys
some
that
dumbass
she's
outfits.
Dancing at home. It seems like she's
when
into
she's
it.
at home doing her little home rehearsal in
Yeah.
the towel and the boxer shorts.
Yeah.
It's like hot and fun.
It was
and like
so
she seems
hot
like
and
she's
fun,
having
and
a good
I loved
time.
it.
I know.
loved
Then
that
she goes to the
scene.
club and like those like the movie comes to a grinding halt.
And her face does nothing
Look,
in,
she
in that.
is miserable.
She's so miserable.
She is the worst stripper I've ever seen. Sorry, dancer. She is the worst dancer I've ever seen. It's
Have you seen a lot?
bizarre. No, I've been to play. Look,
Oh,
I
okay.
may have
All right.
children now. Look, I'll tell you
But
what
you
ruined.
were wild in your heyday.
I did go to many strip clubs in my heyday. I'll tell you what ruined it for me. It's that I have children now, and it's not because I feel like I can't go because I have children. It's because now I go and I see the women and I look at them and I go, they all have mothers. And that makes me sad. And that's why I can't go anymore
And
because
you
I
can
look
look
at
at
them
the
and I'm
bodies
like,
and also tell
"Where
which ones are mothers."
I'm like, where's
Yeah.
your mom?
Unlike
right
Erin.
now?
When I go, I'm just like, take my money. You probably need it for your children.
That too.
I
Like
do that.
last time I went to a strip club, I went to their bathroom / locker room, and there was a drunk dancer in there crying because about something probably similar to this movie where she had a custody battle or something. And I was like, this is fucking sad, and I got to get out of here right now.
I used to do the graphic design for all of the advertisements for Swinging Richards, the
Nice,
all-male
yes.
strip club in Atlanta.
I had a stripper from there once message me on Facebook a bunch of very naughty pictures,
He did.
unsolicited.
Did he choose you at random, or had you met before?
We had a mutual friend, and so he just sent me a bunch of
He's
naked
like,
pictures.
here's my John.
So
And
I photoshopped them so that he was fucking a hot dog in one, and then a unicorn was licking his butt in another.
Yep.
Oh, that's
And then
sweet.
she
Yeah,
texted
that's
them
really
to
cute.
us, and we photoshopped rainbows coming out of his butt.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
that was good.
That's nice.
He had a very compact rear end.
Yeah, yeah. I think his stripper name was,
was bulbous.
Horse Legs.
It
or
was
something.
bulbous for sure.
Like, he was intense.
So, okay, so let's get back to these routines because I feel like we're not. we
Also,
haven't really
Erin
done-
strips under her own name, which we have to
Why?
acknowledge.
That's true. That is
I know.
strange. Like everybody else is
Like, her full name. It wasn't like, here's Erin. It was like, here on the stage, Erin Grant.
Erin Grant.
Erin
Former
Grant.
secretary for the
Social
FBI.
Security
Exactly.
number 427.
Right.
I'm like, what?
I'm sure the
sorry.
judge is not going to find out about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Her music choices
Are
are
all
troubling.
Amazing.
They are all Annie
all
Lennox.
Annie Lennox, and not even like the best Annie Lennox songs
Not-
to dance
yeah,
to.
not
They're like
Eurythmics.
weird. It's like weird
she went
performance
with-
art.
It's like she bought one single from Medusa,
From Turtle
and
Records.
they couldn't get the rights to Walking on Broken Glass, or that number just didn't seem like it would work. And she went with all of the B-sides from the Medusa CD.
See, I would argue that this movie is a comedy, and that her comedic attempts are those dances, are those weird
Is how
performance art pieces.
depressing-
Like like she's like almost a mime.
Yeah.
Like she's bordering on mimedom.
And she clearly doesn't understand. And this, I pointed out once we went through the second interminable Erin stripping number.
Full length. They didn't even cut
Man.
that song
I know,
down.
it's
Hey,
just
but I will say,
full
guys-
3 minutes, 42 seconds
Yeah.
of Erin stripping.
Yeah.
She does yoga though. I need to get back into it. I
Look,
mean, watching her
nobody-
flip over that chair.
Nobody is denying the
Yoga.
athletic prowess
It's true.
of Demi
Yeah.
Moore. She did G.I. Jane the same year.
You're right.
did,
Oh,
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so like, and that's Demi Moore body in motion.
Yeah.
This is, if the attempt was to be erotic, which I'm still not convinced that it was.
I thought it was supposed to be funny. Did nobody think that? I genuinely thought I was like, oh, this is her being funny.
If it was supposed to be
That's
funny,
what I
I
thought.
feel like nobody told her.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Because it is so dour.
Yeah.
It is such a dour striptease.
I mean, I guess I've seen a lot of bad student films,
And she
so I
also
just
doesn't
assumed
understand
it
how
was
tipping
performance
works.
art. Yes.
Yeah.
She never picks up her money.
Right.
Right?
Like until she later in the film, after she has a life event, I'll wait for.
Does she ever get paid? I don't even remember her getting money for those private dances.
Maybe
I'm just-
Shad picks up all her money.
Maybe, but like when she's on the stage, like when she's doing her whole chair number and all of that, she's seducing the chair, not the customers. When the guy comes
true.
up on stage offering her money and says, I'm getting married tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you love her? Then go home to her.
Okay, well, to be
Like,
fair,
Jesus, Aaron, you've got money to make.
I know
true.
you're trying to make some money
but
here.
everybody
like, stop
knows
sending them home.
the first rule of strip club is you don't touch the strippers.
Right.
That's the first rule.
But before he touched her, she told him to go home.
Well,
And I'm like, Aaron.
I get it
Aaron,
though.
How
I
bad
get
do you
it.
want this kid, Aaron?
It's true.
That's
She
the
had like
question.
no
Right,
money
because
in her panties.
Pandora
Yeah.
Peaks would have taken his money before she sent him home.
And then she would have clocked him with
And then she
her
would have
enormous
clocked
titties.
him with her tits.
He would have been out cold.
So
Not even needed
we're
a whole
getting
If
there.
She did
So
like Blondie at the Claremont. She'd fucking
Oh my
kill
god,
a
just
guy.
like crush his head inside her tits. Oh my god, that was so scary. That's a whole different movie.
I
I
was
wanna do it,
picturing.
though. I
was
wanna make
for
that
some reason
movie.
I was picturing the POV of that, and it was very cavernous.
Right. Yeah.
Just
like,
lots of darkness.
Like where it
Enveloping
just like
you
surrounds your head,
completely.
like, and then it's like
and it sounds like you're underwater.
right, like it's like you put on noise canceling headphones.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're getting there. I feel like we're on our way to talking
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
we're like 4 minutes
Well,
into this movie now.
We're I feel like
I
we're
know, right?
well, we're about to. I feel like we're about to talk about this altercation that happens at the strip club, but I don't feel like we can't talk about that until we talk about Burt Reynolds.
Wow. What a committed performance.
What? Yeah, that was is
Oscar
exactly what I was
Oscar
gonna say.
winning. I hesitate to say, or Oscar should have won. I feel like
Was just baffled and so turned off by him and like confused and like actually rewound the credits to figure out who he was just to confirm
Look,
that
you were
was
seeing
Burt
Burt
Reynolds because it didn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah.
I feel like his performance is so bad that it circles bad, comes back around to good,
Yeah.
and becomes amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a parody of itself and it's so great. It's
Burt Reynolds was not considered a character actor. Remember,
Right,
he
that's
was
true. He was a
a
heartthrob.
effing movie
He was
star.
like the Zac Efron of his day.
And then, like,
Sort of.
yeah, and, you know, highest paid movie star of the 70s.
Yep.
And then Demi becomes highest paid movie star of the 90s. Look at him now, you know.
Yeah,
But Burt, this was post divorce from Lonnie Anderson.
That's right. That was a big
post
deal.
Cancellation of Evening Shade as a result of all the terrible press that
Yeah.
his divorce had gotten.
Yeah, it
because
was
back
ugly.
then, that would kill
That
you
shit
on
matters.
a sitcom.
But
Oh,
now you
man.
can be elected president.
yeah.
fun.
And he.
Now I know that I can leave those drunk photos of me up on Facebook.
You can.
Yeah,
I went through them the
absolutely.
other day and
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
could be a
wow,
senator."
I'm obviously 16 and drunk in that photo. But nope, I could just keep it up.
Yeah,
Well,
just keep on keeping
no,
on. No
People would be
apologies.
like,
Nope.
she's just like one of
Nope.
us. No,
You're
I'm
a
a lady.
woman.
I'm a
Nope.
lady. I'm a
Doesn't work.
lady. You're right.
Doesn't work. Doesn't
Right.
work.
I'm a lady. I'm a lady. I always
nope, nope.
forget. I forget.
Silly
Nope, nope, nope.
girl.
Oh, God.
And so Burt Reynolds fought hard to get in this movie.
He wanted to be in this movie
Yeah.
so bad.
Why, though?
He took a pay cut.
Yeah, he took a pay cut. He flew himself down to Florida. They wanted
They
Gene
actually
Hackman.
shot this in Florida?
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Over the course of
That's-
3 months, back when
mean,
they used to do that
3
on
months.
movies.
3 months in Florida. It explains
It's
so much.
I mean, it's
just so much.
what they
Crazy
must
from
have
the heat.
endured just spending that much time in Florida.
I know.
I can't
Oh my
imagine.
God, I can handle like a weekend there, and then I'm like, oh, I just need to go
I
home
mean,
and shower.
of course it was shot in Florida. I turned on the movie and the smell of swamp and ferns just kind
Yeah.
of drifted out into
Like
the
a
air.
little bit of like banana boat
Little
coming
banana
out of it.
boat
Yeah.
cream. Yep. hmm
And so Burt flies himself down for the audition. They make him take off his toupee in the audition.
Oh my God.
And like Burt Reynolds, like that had to have been a moment for
Humiliating.
him.
Yeah.
And they said, "We're sorry, we just can't see past it. We can't see you as
my
anyone but Burt
God.
Reynolds because of the toupee." And he took it off in the audition. And then, you know, he landed the role. And then obviously, no question, committed to proving he could do character comedy
crushed it.
Yeah.
I would say.
And and his performance just exists as this kind of perfectly pure thing.
It's almost like
he actually made me laugh several times.
He made me laugh too.
His
committed.
crazy eyes during the dance at the Jewish home or whatever.
Oh my God.
Was just
and the Vaseline
riveting.
scene, which
the Vaseline.
is just
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Let's hang on to it. Let's hang on to that.
Wait, put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. I feel like he's what aging Marlon Brando wishes he was.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly
And
what
I believe Island of Dr. Moreau came out the same year as this movie.
I really think that's part of the reason why I was so confused, is because I was like, isn't that an aging Marlon Brando right now? Like,
and I think
just
there's
was so
something
confused.
to be said for the fact that he did Boogie Nights the next year.
Yeah. This was like a warm up to Boogie Nights.
I feel like this.
Like he took it, pulled it back.
Succeeded in putting him back on the radar.
Yeah.
And for people to like just return to putting him in a casting conversation.
Yeah.
Because people would, I mean, I can picture a casting office sitting around saying, but did you see Striptease? He went for it.
He really
You
did.
know?
He was one of my favorite things about this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
for sure.
My second favorite thing about this movie is Ving Rhames, though.
I finally found out who Ving Rhames is.
Well, I know him from
How did you
Pulp
not know
Fiction.
I just
Fiction.
didn't know. I didn't know that was his name.
I mean, he's
I've
basically
seen Pulp
playing
Fiction 1,000 times.
He's,
I don't know who
he's
anybody's
playing a
fucking
similar
name is.
character to the character in Pulp Fiction
He
in this
is.
movie.
But it's like the comedic take.
It
And
is.
notice how he made the adjustment.
yes, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
He took it a little bit farther to make it ridiculous and funny.
Yeah.
Demi did not get the notice, apparently.
No, I adored him though. I
He was
can't help
so
myself.
good
I
in this
adored
movie.
their relationship, the
I did
friendship
too.
between them.
Yeah.
I appreciated the
bought
fact
it.
that there was a genuine friendship between them.
Right.
That didn't feel like Aaron had a magical black man.
Yes,
right.
I would
It
agree
just
with that.
Felt like
It
she
felt
had,
like friendship.
She had a
He-
friend who
he-
was a black
yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
And-
he had, a real character. I think
and
we can't.
stories separate from hers, which for
Right.
me is
Yeah.
always
Right.
the big question. It's kind of the extension of the Blacknell test of
Yeah.
do they have a life outside of
It's
their
true. It's
association
true.
with the
Yeah.
white character? And he had that whole bit with the cockroach.
With the
that he was
cockroach
gonna
and the
plan in
lawyer.
it was
Weird.
so smart.
It was
like,
so smart. I don't understand why he did not, when that plan failed, just put another cockroach in
Yeah,
another
it's,
yogurt. Why did he
he
abandon
had a
that?
There were a lot of
cockroaches.
loose, lot of loose threads.
You're in
lot of
Florida.
loose
You
threads.
have access to roaches.
and
know.
and yogurt.
He probably could have found a thumb and like really just coined
Well,
that Wendy's
if you go
thing early.
if you go vacationing at that particular lake where the cop was at,
Right.
apparently floaters are a regular occurrence there.
Yeah, and good old one scene Francis Fisher.
this movie is so
Right?
nuts.
Okay. All right. I feel like we
so
got
nuts.
really
We're
out
still-
out there. We need to
We're
we
still
do
just
need to
at
address
a strip club at this
I know.
point, and there's so much else.
I know. I know. There's
Like,
so
there's
many
so
characters.
much else. Like what happened
All right.
in this movie?
So, but we
Summarize
do-
the Burt
okay.
Reynolds experience.
We got to
at
talk
Eager
about this.
Beaver.
So Burt Reynolds is a congressman. His name is David Dilbeck.
Which
He's a
is
Republican
just the
congressman.
perfect
I
fucking
think
name.
I thought the names in this movie were fucking
Like,
great. Like
Yeah.
I want to
only-
work them into a sketch.
I'm sorry, David Dilbeck is one of the best Southern names I've ever heard, besides Jefferson Beauregard.
Totally.
Sessions.
Totally.
You know,
Totally.
like there
Totally.
are a few like Southern names that are like truly beautiful, and like this is one of them.
I also loved Judge Fingerhut.
I did
Yeah.
love Ginger.
I thought that was fantastic.
Loving the name. Loving the name.
So David Dilbeck is a Republican congressman who has a booby bar fetish. And he's got a long-suffering assistant who carts him from place to place. He's got several handlers that are trying to keep him under
He
control.
has
just basically
evil
trying to keep-
handler, and then he has like smarmy handler.
He has smarmy put-upon handler.
Right.
But I don't
just-
remember
and
that
then
guy's name.
ethnic stereotype handlers, but they're all associated with the sugar people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like we got to get
So
this
fucking
just out of the way. I know it's insane, this plot. So he's a congressman who has been helping Big Sugar
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Florida.
I'm not
to
eating you
keep-
any more sugar.
Right.
Suck my dick.
Yeah. Right?
Right.
This is why you
And like
stopped eating sugar.
Yeah. Supporting
not
their
really, but-
unfair labor practices.
That was-
et cetera,
I have
et cetera.
epic- that up,
Epically,
and
like
it's
there were
nuts.
some serious fucking
Yeah.
deep issues that this movie was attempting
God,
to
now
tackle.
you sound like to me.
I'm just saying,
They,
like,
they had slavery in this movie, more or
yeah,
less.
there was
Like
literally
indentured
shots of
servitude.
fucking slavery.
really important film.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine if she had been up on stage trying to accept an award for it? Just, Hi,
Okay.
this is really important
No,
for
real.
me to shed a light on the sugar industry and how they exploit their
That was
workers.
the whole reason she did it.
And this Emmy, this is for you. This Oscar is for you guys. Just like walks off stage. Oh my god.
Yes.
No,
yes,
I love
that's true.
I love your first impulse that the movie would get a theatrical release, but would only be good enough to get
Only
an Emmy.
good enough for the Emmys.
Yeah,
the
it's true.
Oscars
And
were
like
like,
a 90s Emmy where, you know.
I mean, if
Like,
this had
really
been on
should have
TV,
played on
though,
It's not a peak
if
TV
this had
movie.
been on TV, though, it is silly, but the fucking shit in this movie is very relevant to our current situation.
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Like, I
You
feel
have
like
to
in the
laugh
90s,
because otherwise you'll cry.
Well, no, I feel like everyone in the 90s was like, la, 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 fingers in your ears. Like, nobody would have really paid too much attention to the idea of a corporation being almost like a mob character.
Right.
yeah.
And to us, that seems very like, of course. Yeah, that's totally how it works.
All of our bad guys are big business now.
Exactly. But in this time period, that would have been something that people would have not really paid too much attention to, I feel like.
Yeah.
And yet it's very
Prevalent.
truthful in
It's
a
like-
way.
That is
Yeah.
a very good point.
As well as several other things. Shit, I want to talk about this. You know what? Fuck the plot of this movie.
Fuck it.
I'm
It's
seriously,
so
it's so
wild.
bonkers. We can't. Okay, so while we're talking about it, so David Dilbeck he's keeping Big Sugar going, right? You know,
Right.
like he's their guy, so they got to keep him in charge. He's got several handlers keeping him from getting in trouble. He keeps going to these strip clubs and getting in trouble. We'll circle back to what happens at this strip club specifically. Oh fuck! I just forgot what I was gonna say. There's too much going on in this movie.
There's
There's
too
just
much.
too
Okay,
much.
wait. I think I might be able to help. I think I can do this. All right. David Dilbeck. Wait, no, you just remembered.
I
What
got
was it?
I feel like the Christians for Dilbeck scene.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yes.
Which I feel like you could literally pull that from, like you could pull
was so
Burt Reynolds out
scary.
and drop Donald Trump in.
What
yeah.
was it that
And
they were playing
or
like
Newt
forward
Gingrich.
Christian
It was
soldiers?
forward,
Any of
onward
them.
Christian
Yeah.
soldiers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
As
creepy.
he's shaking their hands with the Vaseline covered
Yeah.
hand. which
Okay.
again,
We
gotta
do have to talk
the
about some other
Vaseline.
things before we get there. I just realized there's all this shit that happens that
Yeah.
leads us to that place. But anyway, all right. So let's go back to the strip club.
Where we're first introduced to him.
Right.
10 minutes in. Okay. So a drunk bachelor party is going on. And
There's a congressman in disguise. sitting at a
congressman. Well,
table
he's not
nearby.
in disguise at this point. He's
Oh,
just
I thought he
fucking
was
there.
in disguise.
I thought he was
It-
in a hat.
He was like in a hat and
You're right. He's
glasses
wearing a hat and
and
glasses.
Hawaiian
It was
shirt.
just
Basically
such
a MAGA hat. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a
More or less.
terrible disguise, as was the one he wears at the flesh farm,
Yes.
that I could not accept it as a disguise.
Right.
So there's a bachelor party there. Demi is doing her awful, truly awful striptease.
And everybody loves her.
She's so popular. She's got a creepy serial killer admirer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
the guy who's like creepily writing her notes on cocktail napkins.
But is it creepy when she is confiding the specific details of her child custody case to him? Like
To this
Aaron
creeper?
struggles with boundaries.
Yeah, she does.
She does, but there's something very murdery about him.
Oh, there's something very murdery.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I
I
almost
thought
feel
that
like
was where the
Dilbeck
plot was
did
gonna
her a
go.
favor.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel
he
like she
would've-
really dodged a bullet there.
Like
Yeah.
he was like moments away from keeping all of her toes in separate jars.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
On his
I mean,
and
window
like
sill.
sucking on them each night.
Yes.
You know, in a specific order.
Yep.
So,
Listen to too many crime podcasts lately.
bachelor party gets out of
Bachelor
hand.
party gets out of hand.
So
I
out of
can't
hand.
believe we're still here. Bachelor party gets out of hand. One of the bachelor gets up on stage and tries to touch her, and the bouncer
succeeds
Ving
in touching
Rhames
her.
succeeds in touching her.
And she says, hands.
Ving Rhames is busy backstage with his monkey, which, by the way, we have not mentioned that Ving Rhames
Oh,
has a
right.
monkey.
There's a monkey.
There's a
monkey in
fucking
it.
monkey in this movie.
It's just like its own
It's a
character too.
capuchin.
It has its own
Yeah.
storyline too.
It
This
really
monkey,
does.
it
There's
has, like,
so many monkey reaction shots
Lots
in
of
this
cutaways.
movie.
Lots of cutaways. So the bouncer is backstage, doesn't see this happen. Dilbeck, Burt Reynolds' character, who has become entranced by, as he
By
calls her,
his
this,
angel.
his angel.
beard.
Angel
pure delight.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Burt Reynolds, he crushed this.
And he picks up a champagne bottle and busts it over this guy's head.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you do.
And
Defending your lady.
serial killer guy recognizes him, and then he gets
And
yanked out of
takes
the
a
club.
picture,
Takes a picture.
because he has a camera at the strip club.
Wait, since
supposed to
when?
do,
And
right?
no, you're not supposed to
No.
do that. And later, Armand Assante tells her that he had pictures of her all throughout his apartment.
Which is,
Oh yeah,
Right,
I
which is
never
just-
made that connection. I was like, maybe
Yeah.
he cut them out of the paper from when
No,
she
he
was a
bringing
FBI.
a camera to the Eager Beaver.
I don't know how she didn't see the flash, to be honest.
Oh, you don't use a flash when you're taking a stage photo.
Didn't he use this? Didn't
I
he
mean,
use
it
the flash? I thought he
totally
did.
drowns out the color scheme.
Exactly.
You're right.
You're not going to get picture quality out of that.
No, it's gonna just look
Right.
awful and washed
So Jerry
out.
takes the picture.
Jerry, right, the serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now we're into our plot, I guess. Let me see.
Yeah,
Let me
sure,
just
why
check
not?
in with our notes here.
Doesn't
So
somebody pull
Jerry-
a gun out in this scene too? I
Oh
read
yeah.
somebody pulls a gun out.
Smarmy Dilbeck
Yes. Oh,
assistant
yeah.
pulls a gun out and says, "I got this. I got this."
And even Ving Rhames is like, "All right, bro, you take care
Yeah.
of it." It's like, "All right,
Because I ain't
I'm
dying
not
at the
getting shot."
Eager Beaver.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, and they haul him away.
Mm-hmm.
So we find out that what's his name again? I just knew him as
Lopez.
Lopez. Okay, so we find out that he's a Miami cop.
Your brain is resisting it because he's Irish and Italian.
Yeah, I just thought he was
Yeah.
Italian. I was very confused
I
by
just
that.
called him the cop. I was really confused by it.
Yeah, cop guy. And so he digs the floater out of the lake, and now we're into our detective portion, our investigative
crime drama
portion.
portion.
Yeah, our segment of the movie. And this is when he begins asking around,
Yeah.
asking questions about these bodies.
Yeah.
This
Well, it's
body.
one
Well, there's
body.
there's
This
going to
one.
be more.
There's going to be more,
There's
but
gonna be
right
a lot
now it's just Jerry. So he
Just
goes to
Jerry.
Jerry's house and we find out there's a whole bunch of pictures of Aaron. So then
Mm-hmm.
he comes to the Eager Beaver where in the first 20 seconds of the conversation, he accuses Aaron of being a prostitute.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what a fucking asshole.
Yeah. This is not a meet cute for them.
Not at
No.
all. Well, okay, I think this is a good time to bring this up. I appreciate that there's no romantic interest in this movie.
None whatsoever.
I fucking
Yeah,
appreciate that
I
a
do
lot.
too.
There
Especially
are
considering her choices, it's for the best.
Yeah,
yes, that's
right.
true. There are two.
I don't
not
want to watch
one.
my own life story on a movie. you
Right?
know?
Actually, I was thinking about you when with Dilbeck's handler. I was like, we should get Hillary a handler,
We really should.
somebody to get all the hot fresh
Yeah.
lint that you need.
Exactly. Yeah. God. Ooh, yeah, I could use some hot fresh lint. I need a handler. Please
so-
email
Feminine
Mistake
Mistake Podcast at gmail.com. Okay, a bunch of stuff happens. Let's run through it briefly, shall we?
Go for it.
We got the yogurt shit. Okay, we got
Yeah.
Ving Rhames
Right.
going to the movie store and talking
He
to his
wants
lawyer.
to watch Free Willy.
He wants to watch Free Willy.
They
Nothing
don't
like
have
a
it.
Free Willy joke. The secretary eats. So Ving Rhames has a shady lawyer. He wants
Mm-hmm.
to sue a yogurt company by finding a roach in his yogurt. So he puts a roach in the yogurt. I can't remember his name, but I like the actor who plays the lawyer.
He was in
Yeah.
everything in the 80s
He
and early
really
90s.
was.
So
He's been
annoying in
everything.
this movie. Like
Yeah.
when he died, I felt like this movie did me a favor.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God they
They
just
knew.
ignored this plot.
Yeah.
I was so bored with him. Anyway, Ving Rhames goes in there with a drill in his hand. I don't know why. Can't explain it.
There are holes in the wall indicating that Ving Rhames has drilled through the wall before.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah.
I clearly didn't have the HD scan.
I
of the
honestly
movie.
think this part was like a joke of like your typical like thug coming in to harass a lawyer with a gun, and like instead it's a drill, so it's like this little comedic moment of him holding a drill the way
Yes,
you would
and
use a gun to intimidate a
I
person.
think that's accurate. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you brought up the word thug because while I love Ving Rhames' character, I do feel like he falls into this sort of thug with a heart of gold
Yes.
type, like this type we've seen a bunch, which he played. That actor has played a bunch.
Right.
Right.
It bothered me because the lawyer says, shows him the picture of David Dilbeck. The lawyer plans to use a photo of David Dilbeck assaulting the guy that was trying to touch Aaron to blackmail him, and then they're going to split the money. And he shows him the picture of David Dilbeck, and Shad doesn't know who he is.
Right.
And the lawyer says, "Don't you follow politics?" And Shad says, "Do I look like I follow politics?" And it's like, well, maybe, dude. I don't know your life.
That's
but
true.
then later,
He might be very into monkeys' rights.
right.
Yeah.
And then later, when Irish Lopez shows
Yeah.
the same picture to Aaron doesn't know who David Dilbeck is.
But she worked for the fucking FBI.
Yeah, and it's like, doesn't she vote?
on.
Like, if John Lewis was attacking people in a strip club, I would know who he is in
Oh,
that
I would
picture.
know in a heartbeat.
But
You would.
But
But
nobody criticizes
what a
Aaron
lot-
for not knowing who
That's
the
true.
congressman is.
I
And,
think-
and meanwhile,
I think it's-
Shad's taking shit for it.
I think it speaks to the fact that probably most people don't know what their congressman
Yeah.
looks like.
Right.
true.
Honestly.
Unless you're lucky enough to have John Lewis.
Yeah.
That's
in the
true. We all-
Failing, in the failing fourth.
So the lawyer is wanting to get in on some kind of blackmail,
Right.
Which is basically what Jerry was going to try to do. Jerry the
Yeah.
floater, who we
But
talked
Jerry
about. a
was
little
doing
earlier.
it for altruistic and also serial killer reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas the lawyer just wants money.
That's true.
Right. Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like,
Get
just
yours.
don't kill her.
Yeah.
You know?
Get
Well,
yours.
that's basically Shad's opinion is that
Mm-hmm.
he's fine with squeezing the congressman as long as
Yeah.
you keep Aaron out of
Like,
it.
I'm fine with it. It's like a
mean, if
modern day
we-
Robin Hood.
I mean, if
you
we
know?
had information on Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, there's nothing you
There's
can blackmail a Republican with.
I know.
Apparently not. I mean, they've really
Like, clearly.
they've
I mean, even
slashed and burned it all at this
Isn't
point.
Anthony Weiner a fucking Democrat too? I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
you can even do a Democrat with. He was in office for so long, even after
Yeah.
all the shit he pulled.
I feel like
it
we-
was the final straw after like time number 8.
I feel like we missed an important opportunity to mention that in the scene with Dilbeck, when they're talking about Jerry before Jerry gets killed, there is actually a signed picture of Newt Gingrich
I
on
saw that.
Dilbeck's desk. I know this is a ridiculous, campy, stupid movie with a nonsense plot, but I swear to
there's
you,
some
this
details.
this
There were some
plot,
smart moments.
This plot about a corrupt congressman who's so fucking stupid. He literally does nothing intelligent in this whole movie.
No.
He's just being propped up by a corporation and the people around him who have been hired to keep him looking. All he does is smile at people and shake their hands.
Right.
And I think that's what the
While
movie,
his beleaguered wife sits in D.C.
who we never meet.
No.
Yeah.
Mary Pat. I did
he's-
remember her name because they were good with names
See
in this
again,
movie.
Mary Pat Dilbeck.
Mary
That's
Pat
an
Dilbeck is a
awesome Southern
great
name.
name.
That's very Southern. But yeah, he's disgusting. He's stupid. He's corrupt. And that is what I feel like that is the whole point.
Yeah.
He says at one point,
But they're
I
putting
just love
actual
naked women. It's a character flaw.
Right.
And I feel like this echoes so much the like grab her by the pussy moment.
Oh, for
that
sure.
I'm just like, God, it makes me so mad. I feel like I'm watching.
I felt
Our
like
times
I was
play out.
watching a fucking documentary about our president at times.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
if
the
Donald Trump had
similarities.
started in politics and not
Which is
reality
why
TV.
the Donald Trump reference was a little terrifying.
It was weird.
God,
it just
so
popped
weird.
out.
It was
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
And it's like the only truly believable thing in this movie is, yeah, I believe that Daryl would be friends with Donald Trump. That tracks.
Yes.
Well, the only thing that's not believable is we know Donald Trump would never play polo because he doesn't do sports. He eats fried food and grabs pussies.
He likes golf.
That's true. He does like golf.
He
That's
does
a good
like
point.
golf. Could you
He
imagine
should have
a
said
man on a
golfing.
horse?
He would
A
never ride a
lot.
horse. Never.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him on a horse?
Oh my God,
The
that
wind.
poor horse.
The wind would tear. The wind would tear his hairpiece right off.
Right off. It's that elevation. Once you get above a certain point, the wind is stronger.
It's true.
This, like,
There's no
saddle
spirit.
made out of gold.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The
The
horse
horse
just
would just
collapsed.
collapse under the saddle. He'd be like, "Thank you
Legs
for
akimbo.
yeah, thank you so much for coming down to my level. Just sit on it."
So, and actually, this is kind of we get. This is when we get into the other strip club, the Flesh Barn,
The Flesh Farm.
the Flesh Farm. I keep
Which
wanting to
is
call it the
somehow
Flesh Barn.
Scarier.
Yeah. Well, there's snakes for one
Either.
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the snake? Should we talk about the snake?
Wow.
Monty?
Yeah.
We should talk about the snake. He has an important role in this movie.
Yeah. So their star attraction at the Flesh Farm.
Yeah.
Does this little snake handler dance with
Yeah.
I don't know
Did-
snakes. So a boa
Well, his name
constrictor.
is
I think it's
Monty.
His
yeah,
name
I
is
think
Monty.
it's a boa
Yeah.
constrictor
Yeah, it is.
because it tries to choke her later.
Definitely
and
constricts.
he
Yeah.
slithers about her body very slave for you style.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which did
But
Britney steal
he's
this?
yeah, I think Britney stole this. And
He's got a definite butt fetish. Though,
yeah,
I feel
but
like.
then
Oh,
he
yeah.
had the added move that Britney's python didn't know
No,
about,
and like
where
why
you
not?
go through the legs and up the butt crack.
Yeah.
And
It was
that
intense.
was tremendously unappealing.
Yeah, I have to feel bad for this actress. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if she went into this knowing she was going to have a snake in her butt crack.
It
Now,
was
see, I
no.
was thinking that much like Pandora Peaks, this was a special skills hire.
Oh, you think
Yeah.
so? They hired a woman who does snake work.
Right.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Right. And then fake Monty later because the manager of the Eager Beaver. Is it okay if I tell plot here? I'm just
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
I
power
feel like
through
we're
it.
just. I feel like we're
No,
just.
we've got to just get to
I feel
it.
like we're just flopping around with this plot.
Yeah.
at this
Manager of
point.
Eager Beaver tries to poach her, succeeds in poaching her from the flesh
Indeed,
farm.
yes.
And in retaliation, the manager of the flesh farm, who is Asian, just because I felt like we should point out
And-
anytime there is a non-Caucasian
And
representation.
Yeah.
super racist
Yeah,
as a
super
character.
racist presentation of it.
Sure,
Yeah.
as was the businessman who finds himself in Aaron's crotch. Anyway, side note.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so he murders Monty, and then the owner of the Eager Beaver sends Shad to the all-night snake farm,
Right.
to pick up a replacement,
Which is a totally believable thing. I think that they have in Florida.
all-night
Do you
snake
guys
farm.
not know where your
Totally.
local
Yeah.
all-night snake farm
Well, not
is?
here. I
If
don't
I were
live
a
in
Floridian,
Florida.
I absolutely
Yeah,
would.
I mean,
I
pretty
can
sure
get
there's
to that.
a night market in
Oh,
Piedmont
I'm sure
Park
if
where
you-
you can just like pick up.
No, I'm
a
sure it's just like a fireworks stand. Like as soon
Yeah.
as you cross the Georgia Florida line, all night snake farm.
snake farm. Turn
Everywhere.
right.
For days. But of course they don't tell the dancer who is accustomed to working with Monty that her snake has been replaced and the snake attacks her.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who saw that coming?
Yeah.
But they go there. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna choke her a little bit, and they're gonna take it off. But
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
like
no.
almost
It
kills
kills
her.
her.
But they're like, this is good. This is good entertainment. We're just
Yeah.
going to let this play out. Let's see
The
what
crowd
happens.
is going wild.
Yeah, the
they're
crowd is loving
it.
it.
By the time they get that snake off of her, her neck is bruised. Like she is
Like, we
on
almost
the
lost
verge
her.
of death.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like icing her neck, and she's like, "Who was that? That wasn't Monty." And then I'm like legitimately feeling bad for her.
Right?
Because
I was
she knew
emotionally
Monty, they had a
invested.
relationship.
Yeah.
In
she
that
lost her
relationship.
pet,
When you have enough trust with a snake for it to go up your butt
I know.
right?
several times a night.
She clearly raised that snake from an egg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so
She
we
came
got
out
a couple of
daughter,
dead
right?
people now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Judge
Lawyer's
Fingerhut
dead.
dies.
So we haven't really talked about this, but the congressman, people have been trying to blackmail him, and so his handler has been killing people and dumping them in the water to get him out of this jam. All
I need a
on
handler,
the
you
orders.
guys.
I know for
You
real.
do. Think of all the people you could,
Have
the loose
killed.
ends
I
you
have
could
such
have
a
tied
list,
up.
like Arya Stark. Like I just lay in bed at night.
I
Let's
feel
just
like I
repeat them.
wouldn't abuse that power at
Donald
first,
Trump,
and then I
Donald
would
Trump, Donald Trump.
seriously abuse
My
that
list
power.
is just Donald Trump on repeat.
Yeah, and then I get to, like,
and
a
Ann
Ivanka.
Coulter.
Oh. Yeah.
So on the advice on the orders of Big Sugar, who want to keep him in office, they have all these people killed. So the
Yeah.
corporation is sort of like a mob
Yeah.
acting as a mob in this sense. And Erin, here's why this is what we didn't talk about. We'll get to SeaWorld. Here's what we didn't talk about. We talked a little bit about the shower. She's like dancing to Annie Lennox after she gets out of the shower.
As she always does.
This is at this point, and this is when my husband came in last night during my second viewing of this, and he was like, I think I only saw this on TV because I don't remember her boobs being in this movie. And I'm like, oh no, there are
oh,
straight up boobs.
yeah.
He must have watched
and
like
we
the
get
30
bare
minute
ass
version.
in that scene.
And bare ass, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's dancing, not doing the most effective job with the hair dryer. I feel like the way she's pointing at is not an effective way to
And
dry
she's
your
got
hair.
super long hair, so
So
she needs
long.
to be doing the
Yeah.
flip upside
If I
down.
did that, I would just look like a poodle,
Yeah.
honestly. So detective shows up to give her some good news and some mediocre news.
Yeah.
The good news is her husband has been kicked off the Vice Squad, which is what she wanted because now she can prove that he's a dirtbag and she can get her daughter back.
Right.
Mediocre news, and I'm not really sure if that's mediocre, but okay, is that Judge Fingerhut, let's just take a moment for that name again and how brilliant it is.
Great.
Judge Fingerhut has had a heart attack at a porno theater
Right.
and is now dead, and so her case is now going to take 6 months to be heard.
Instead of 6 weeks.
Right.
Because what? Judge Fingerhut was the only family court judge in Florida?
I think so.
I guess so.
Okay.
The rest of them are on stand your ground cases.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that tracks. Yeah.
So she decides to snatch that kid.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes over to Rita's.
I would like to give a quick play-by-play here because this
Please do.
has bothered the hell out of me.
Please do.
Mm-hmm.
So Erin goes to Rita's.
Yeah.
She hides in the back of the Sanford and Son truck.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Rita runs past with a wolf.
Well, with the German Shepherd.
Yeah. Erin then goes into the trailer. We do a quick cut to then Erin running back out of the trailer with Angela and a bunch of Angela's shit.
Yep.
The Sanford and Son truck is gone, and Erin's Volvo is now parked and running directly in front of the trailer.
Ah, good point. I'm going to have to say I'm going to have to say that limo driver helped her out, much like he does at the end of the,
Yeah.
in the movie.
You mean the Scientologist limo
Plot
driver?
tied. Oh, yeah, the Scientologist.
The
Reading the
Scientologist.
L. Ron Hubbard.
I was like, he's fucking reading Dianetics. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just want to get him out. Like, talk to Leah Remini. Get out,
Okay,
get
so
out.
maybe like she employed some thetans
Oh,
and
for
made it
sure.
happen.
She got
Yeah.
the Thetans involved.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I didn't even notice that. This is how little attention I paid to the
I
details of this
stopped
movie.
Yeah.
and rewound it, and I'm like,
I
did
did
just
too.
See what
I was like,
think
did I just see
saw?
Dianetics in its original
Not
form?
that,
Oh,
the
that one?
disappearing Sanford and Son
Oh, well,
truck.
I didn't notice that at all. I was shocked
man.
by the Dianetics thing. I was just like, what? That was so commonplace, apparently. It's just like right there. The disappearing truck I didn't even
Again,
catch.
Florida.
Florida, but also maybe somebody in the film is
Probably.
a Scientologist.
Possibly.
Hollywood people.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of them. Let's be real.
This is the point where Dilbeck, who knows that at this point that several people have approached him to blackmail him for being at the strip club, but
Yeah.
this seems
But
he
it's
wants
still
to
pursuing the
suspend his campaign
Yeah.
to pursue Erin
One night with
getting
her, yeah.
one night with her.
And he will not resume campaigning
No.
until he gets it. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, he needs something to tide him over.
Something personal.
Something personal.
Something extraordinarily personal.
So we take a trip to the laundromat.
I think this
This
is fresh hot
scene-
lint time.
Yeah, this scene did not go where I thought it was going to go, you guys.
I
This
didn't
is not
either.
at
I
all
was
where
like,
thought it
could you
going.
not have creeped in there like an hour earlier and gotten some panties?
I
Like
know.
a respectable human?
Right? I was like, he's going to take clean panties? That's weird, but fine. Like, whatever. What if it gets you off? You know?
Yeah, so she's in there doing laundry with her daughter at the public. If this is an ad for why you shouldn't do your laundry at a public laundromat, I don't know what
Yeah.
is.
God, it's like the time that I went downstairs here because there's a washer dryer downstairs. I came down and all of my underwear was folded on the top of the dryer.
That is fucking
It was
nightmarish.
so scary. All the rest of my clothes were still drying, but somebody had gone in and picked out all of the underwear and folded it on top. And like in my head, I just keep telling myself it's like one of the nice ladies that lives downstairs, and it's not that weird. But like it was.
No, it's
just
that
my
weird,
underwear,
Hillary.
and
It's
it was
totally
so
that
weird.
weird.
It was
Hillary,
so
you
weird.
have a Jerry in your
So
building.
weird.
You do.
Yeah, well, this was all. Yeah, I think I know who it was. This is like a long time ago. I think I know which neighbor it was.
Was
and,
it
like,
was it the poltergeist?
Yes, it was. It was the poltergeist that lives in my building. Just folds underwear just to be helpful.
I need one of those. So he sends his handler to get something personal, which look. Ordinarily, I don't love camera angles that are from the perspective of like a refrigerator or something like that.
Yeah.
I liked the washer cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see
My
from
fiance is a filmmaker, and it was like one of the. And he sat and watched this movie
Oh.
in total silence.
Did he enjoy the film school style lighting? Because that's what I noticed.
But then when they did the inside the
Yeah.
washer or the inside the dryer shot, he
Yeah.
went, "Oh, that's a good shot."
Yeah, I mean,
It's like
well,
the
was it.
first time he spoke
Yeah.
in an hour and 15
well,
minutes.
what worked about it is he scoops out the lint, and then you see him just like walking away in the distance, and you have this long shot of him sort of in this like fisheye perspective.
Yeah.
Just feeling like a complete asshole. Like
Right.
is this really my life? The
Yeah.
handler's like, this
I'm,
is
like,
the most
stealing
embarrassing.
And banging his head
fucking
against
job.
the wall.
God.
It was pretty great.
I think the fresh hot lint
fresh hot lint.
is a great way to segue into the Christians for Dilbeck.
He gets in that lint.
Oh, yeah.
Gets in it.
Yeah.
Well, he's supposed to go downstairs and give a speech to the Christians who are talking about this
Christians.
great man. Well, they seem like these type of Christians. Look, hey,
They seem sincere.
No. There are Christians in this world that are normal people, and then there are these guys in this movie, and I don't relate to them.
Nope.
I don't understand them.
Nope.
No.
Anyway, so they are doing one of those fundraiser rally things for Christians that like to push Republican candidates. The joke being that this guy is a complete and total dirtbag.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember when that was funny?
Yeah.
And
Boy.
so then
Good old days.
smarmy assistant
Yeah.
goes upstairs to retrieve David Dilbeck and finds him in his hotel room wearing boxer shorts, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat.
I would call it a vinyl vest.
Yeah,
maybe,
and
that
then
he's
like
wearing?
like a pleather vest.
Yeah.
Like
maybe.
something you'd get
Yeah.
in a costume shop.
Yeah. And covered from face to foot in Vaseline.
Shiny and greasy.
Which
And once again, Burt Reynolds went there.
Committed 100%.
and another scene where the sound effects of it in their shoes
Because
was
the
a
boots
little
are
too much.
filled with
I would
Vaseline.
argue that the sound designer of this movie also deserves an Oscar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. I absolutely,
So-
I second that.
Wholeheartedly agree.
He's got the Vaseline in his boots. They're
Yeah.
squishing around.
Yeah.
And he is just nose deep in that lint.
Yeah. And he has already made love to the lint.
Indeed.
Yes.
And
How do you make love to lint? I want to know.
I imagine it's kind of like you wrap it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
smarmy assistant convinces him to get dressed and go downstairs.
Well, he quits.
Kind of. Yeah.
Wait, does he quit
He
yet?
quits. He says, "I did
Oh,
not
that's when he quits.
get into
yeah.
he grows his
politics
spine.
to cover up for a gross old fuck like you or something."
Yeah.
And
That's
he
what he
hands
shoulda
in
said.
his pin.
Yeah, that's right.
And so then I presume that mean henchman then has to come in and hose him down and put him in a suit.
Right. And the best
But they don't hose him down.
Right,
Well, not his
because
hands.
the only laugh out loud cackle moment I had in this
God, I love
movie
it.
was when he goes downstairs and meets the Christians. They start playing Onward Christian Soldiers.
Oh my God, could not be
and
more
he's
perfect.
shaking hands with everyone in the room, and every single person he shakes hands with has a skeezed out reaction, and they look at their own hand.
And they're
then
like
they pull out a
wiping
hand
it.
And everybody's
wipe it off.
wiping it on napkins and on their pants.
God,
It
it was
gets me
great.
now. That was a funny scene.
And
It was.
very poignant
Yes.
in terms of like the things you're willing to put up with
Yeah,
to
because
prop
their
up.
hands will never be clean again.
Exactly.
It's a fucking metaphor.
It's a fucking metaphor, assholes. But
Some Pontius Pilate shit right there.
I give the movie credit for working this shit in, and it works for me. It
Yeah.
works for me. This
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
This
because
gag
of the
really
humor,
worked.
the humor makes it work.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens after this Vaseline stuff?
Oh, real quick, the last time we were at the club, Dina Waters, I forget her character, Monique Jr. Monique Jr. says Michael Jordan's at table 8.
Oh, right. And she's wearing the white vinyl suit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the floor, and as they pan past, Michael Jordan was actually, at table 8.
Yeah.
I know. I saw that too, and I was like, "Holy fuck! How did they get him in this movie?"
I didn't see it. I just read it in the trivia.
Yeah.
Was
I
he
didn't see it.
No,
traveling with Francis Fisher that weekend?
He must have been,
Like,
but no, he was in the movie, and he was supposed to be credited. This is the trivia read. They was supposed to be credited, but
And then what, he
there was
saw
some discussion, I think whoever he was like the Bulls or whatever, whoever he was employed by at the time didn't want his name in the movie, so they just removed him from the credits. He became an uncredited cameo, although he's still mentioned in the film.
Yeah. That was insane.
That was insane because I literally
I did
panned
not
past
catch
him
that in
and I was like,
1996.
I was like, he was in what was that tune?
Looney Tunes.
The Looney
Was
Tunes.
it back
Oh,
in
Space
action?
Space
Jam.
Jam. Yes, Space
I was like, he was in
Jam.
Space Jam around the
Seals singing
same
Fly
time.
Like an eagle.
Because that's what I was watching at this time. When you guys were seeing Striptease in the theater, I was sitting in my room watching Space Jam. That's where I knew him from.
Oh, okay.
That's where you knew Michael Jordan from.
Yeah, that's the first time I was.
Oh,
introduced
Michael
to him.
Jordan. You mean from Space Jam?
Yeah.
That really is the
I was
top
like,
credit.
oh, he must be a basketball player. Interesting. My dad actually currently is coaching the high school football team that I have not been in high school in a very long time, but he still works there.
Still hoping to
Still-
get that son that'll be
Yep.
the quarterback.
Yep, he's got like 30 of them on the football team now. Just hangs out
What
with
he
them every
always
Friday.
what he always wanted at the
Leaves
fish
me at
fry.
the office. Yeah. Well, at the fish fry, yeah, but I get the free food there.
That's good.
I get the free food. They just get to enjoy him on the field.
Let's
mean,
play
that's
a generic
proposal.
version of Candyland together. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good segue because now we're back at the club for yet another awkward Annie Lennox striptease.
Jesus.
And
Only this time she's brought her kid to work
Yeah.
with her.
Is this the bird one?
Yeah.
the bird one, yes.
This
bird
is the
one.
one
Take
she
your
was
daughter to work
rehearsing
day.
at home.
Yeah.
And now we
Where it
see
was
the
so much fun
utterly
and all.
joyless version.
It's the only time I've ever
Yeah.
seen something be better in rehearsal than it was on the
Yeah.
night of the performance.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like the audience didn't help here.
oh,
No.
you should see the rehearsal footage of Demi Moore at the 1997 VMAs when they had to rehearse with Britney's stand-in. And so you see the rehearsal of what the performance was supposed to be before Britney showed up.
Poor thing.
It
They've
was a
just been-
really good number. It
They've
was
been
really,
pumping
really
her
good.
full of so many drugs,
So she's brought her daughter to work.
as you do.
Like
Yeah.
it's bring your daughter to work day.
Quick sidebar on that. So the other dancers are babysitting Angela.
I think
Yeah.
they're doing an okay
What?
job.
They're doing a
They
fine job.
are, but I love that Milton Bradley would not give clearance for them to use close-ups of their games.
Oh, yeah.
So in the wide shots, they're playing Chutes and Ladders and Candyland, and in the
But in the
close-up
close-ups-
shots, they're playing whatever the fuck
Whatever
that
the
was.
I was
Fuck
like
that.
trying to figure it out. I was like, what are the rules to this
I
game?
know, I was doing
All
the
I
same
see are
thing.
footprints.
Right? It was shoots and ladders, but with footprints. Is
Right.
what it was. I was like looking
And
at
in
it,
the
and I was like,
wide
that's fucking
shot,
weird.
it's still Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah.
And then later, it's Candyland in the
I'm like,
wide
what
shot.
is
And
this
then in
game?
the
I
close-up,
didn't
it
have
looks
it.
like Twister
Right.
on a game board.
It was very
It was
strange.
very strange. So Aaron has not told Angela that she's at a strip club.
I think
Like-
I got the sense that she knows and that she wants to watch, but the
Right.
other dancers have been instructed to tell her to keep her away.
That mommy's
Right.
mommy's working, but she's not.
Well, I imagine Daryl's probably been talking about it at home, like your
I'm
mother,
sure,
the stripper.
yeah.
I'm sure she knows,
Mm-hmm.
if, as much as a 7-year-old
I assume
can
Okay,
know
but
what a
to be
stripper is.
fair, at the beginning of the movie, in our first, I think in the beach conversation, Angela doesn't know what snatch means.
And if you don't know what snatch means, you don't know what
Then
exotic
you
dancing
do not
is.
know your
No.
way around a strip club.
No, that's true.
No.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Because then when Aaron kidnaps her, she says, "Mommy, did you snatch me?" And Aaron's like,
That's
yes.
a great impression of her. She said it
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah. And Aaron's like, yes, I
She's
did.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
found myself wondering about the history of the stripper pole. Like, when did that happen? Like, why did we decide we needed a fireman's pole in the middle of a nude dancing woman show?
Maybe there was just one really randy fire station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it started it all.
It just
started
seems
it
like a
there.
strange thing to cut. Like, it
Some
wouldn't be like a.
Gibson girl just
Yeah.
swinging around
I
that
mean, it
thing.
wouldn't be a
Yeah.
prop that's just lying around, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You'd have
Like,
to
where do you get a
consciously
like,
incorporate it
was
into the
always a pole?
structure.
Yeah.
Was it a tree first?
Was it a
Like-
ballet bar at first, and they
Although you don't
realized
really
it
have-
wasn't as effective?
You don't have to incorporate it into the structure. You can just install one. I have definitely been to a frat house that installed one and threw a very exciting
I have
party
a very
to
dear
commemorate
friend
it.
who
Oh,
has
boy.
who has one in her fitness studio, and
Yep, that's become a
And
fitness craze now.
She and her husband, big fans, huge fans.
Mm.
She can do a little show for him, just for herself, just like Aaron.
Yeah, No, I was
Aaron
just
loves to
remembering
dance
how,
for
like,
Aaron.
after we watched this movie last night, my husband was like, "Hey," and I was like, "No, not after this movie."
Of
He's
course
like,
he was.
He was like, "It's not about the movie," and I'm like, "No, really,
You're
this
like,
is
"Of
like,
course it is about
this
the
is
movie,
like,
Chris."
this is the anti."
Because this is not a sexy movie.
No, it's not.
Anyway,
No.
all right,
There was
so
a lot of boobs, but it wasn't sexy.
No.
Like, somehow Game of Thrones manages to do it while being
Because-
gross and sexy, but this
because
movie doesn't.
we were observing the boobs, and I would argue that there were some shots where I think they were trying to be like, "Look at Demi Moore's gorgeous boobs."
Oh yeah,
but,
the first time they
yeah.
were unveiled.
Oh yeah, where the music
Yeah.
kicked in and the spotlight
Yeah.
was on the
Yeah.
boobs. But I think overall, when you were at the strip club, it was more like we were an observer, and they weren't like trying to super
Right.
sexual. Like
Yeah.
This
it's-
wasn't like her sex scenes. Excuse me, her sex scenes in Indecent Proposal.
No, it
which
was
was
not
meant
like
to
that.
be really super
Right.
sexy.
It was meant to be campy and maybe titillating, but not sensual.
I am still
Yeah.
confused as to what her intent as a performer was for me in
Yeah.
her stripping number.
I am also confused.
yeah.
I mean, I
'Cause,
feel like
like-
I have a pretty that I felt like it was pretty solidly communicated to me.
I do not think
Whether it
Demi
was
Moore has a
well
sense
placed?
of the absurd enough to justify your explanation. I think you're smarter than Demi Moore. I'm sorry.
Well,
I do.
I mean, even if she didn't know it, I think that's what the director was going for.
Maybe. I buy that because feathers.
Feathers.
And then what's next? Dilbeck's offer?
Let's see. I think we get yes. I
Yeah.
think what happens is this is the same night. Angela falls asleep, she takes her up to bed. She finds the note. The detective has already told her that the congressman is dangerous.
that he's had all
Several
these people
have
killed.
died.
Yeah.
Have
She
they
reads the
seen
note
the
out
lawyer's
loud, which
body
is
at
really
this
helpful.
point? Have they seen the lawyer's body at this point?
Yes, I think so.
Armand
watch that movie.
Armand Asante has warned her about the congressman. He's
Yeah.
left a note saying that it's actually not written by him. It's written by someone else talking about him in the third person.
Because we don't know that Dilbeck knows how to write.
But that's true. He
Yeah,
probably
really is.
doesn't. And he certainly doesn't have handwriting like that.
Yeah, true.
He's basically what he's offering is a discreet private dance for $2,000.
I'd do it.
Yeah, I'd do it.
No. Well, we've talked about this before. I just
Just a dance.
I know.
I would do
Ew,
Just a
creepy.
dance.
No,
and I will
no.
come with you and stand outside.
sorry,
And if anything goes wrong.
I know people who have been on seeking arrangements, and they've done a lot more for a lot less.
Yeah.
I know.
And I still
As
would.
have
Well,
I.
that's
I still
look.
would.
This was the '90s. That shows you the effect of the internet economy.
Right.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
the
you're right.
freelance internet
You're right.
economy. You just
It
can't
used to be
get a man.
$2,000 for a private dance
you-
on your coffee table.
You can't get a man to give you $2,000 for that anymore. He's going to
No.
charge you. He's going to ask 50, 100 tops.
Yeah.
yeah,
So anyway,
I'd still do it.
this
Plus
is when we
$2,000 in 1996. That's probably like $3,200 now.
Yeah,
You could put a down payment on a house with that.
No, you can't.
Well, you
Do
could've
not
then.
buy a house.
Then.
You rent controlled freak.
I would never live it. I'm
You
never
know
leaving
nothing
here.
I'm like,
of the
never
housing
leaving
I'm
here.
like,
market.
what house are you talking about?
No, in 1996.
I'm not sure that Comcast will turn you on
could've.
for 32.
No, probably not. You're right.
You're talking about like a storm
magic
shelter,
house.
perhaps.
I would live in a storm shelter, guys, if I owned it. It'd be mine.
Oh boy.
Well, no wonder you do lap dances for Burt Reynolds. Clearly, your
I
standards
would
are just all
for
over
like
the
$50.
place.
Just like that's dinner, you know.
I don't have a problem with other people who are comfortable with doing that. I just like, I don't like doing things for other people.
No
Right.
one would ever
It's
ask me
just
to do that.
like generally, I don't really like it.
Right.
I mean, in many situations, as a mother, I'm forced to do it, but I'm just not. I don't. I don't like the idea of being possessed.
yeah, I don't.
It's not something I like to play into.
I don't take myself seriously enough to actually get paid to do any of these things. You know, like I would never. No one would ever offer me that.
That's
because
true. No,
it would
I would
be an
it's not a
actual
question.
comedy striptease, and like
Right.
there'd be a rubber chicken involved.
It'd
Like
be
it would be ridiculous.
hilarious.
I would
You'd
be
put on a
very
merkin.
proud. Yeah,
That
I
would-
would put on a merkin. I would be very proud of
That
my
would be
performance.
smart and sexy.
right? It would be like a throwback to Pussy Riot. Like there'd be a whole like storyline, but no one else would appreciate that, and no one
Right.
would pay me to do it.
The Dilbecks of the world
Never.
would.
I don't know.
You'd be his angel.
We're in Georgia. We are rife with Republicans here, and no one is like beating
one's-
down my door to do a striptease for them.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Okay. So this is when we get. This
well,
is
if you are interested, you can reach the Feminine Mystique
podcast at gmail.com.
Please.
Send
Let me know. I'll take your money.
send
Do a
pictures.
very
Send
comedic
pictures
striptease
of
for you.
your piles of cash
Yeah.
and all of your favorite Annie Lennox songs.
Yes.
Yes, please. I'll
You'll
choreograph
only
some
do it to
dances to that.
Annie
Only to
Lennox.
Annie Lennox.
So we get a couple of private dances.
Yeah.
The first one being this. This one. What's his
Well,
face? Shad.
Shad
is
goes
involved.
with Shad.
Yeah.
And then we
Well,
get
he's
a
not
very
involved. He goes as like her bodyguard.
well, we get a very homophobic pat down there.
Oh, yeah,
they're
for
like,
sure.
we're gonna have to pat you down, and he's like, all right, sure. And then they go to pat him down, and like he literally is like pushes on his chest, turns around, like pushes on his back, and is like, you're good. I'm like, Is that where people store their guns in the 90s? Just like on your pectoral muscles?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a very hidden
you
place.
know? Yeah.
I did like the George Bush, Barbara Bush joke. I enjoyed
Did you
that.
catch that?
You did it?
I liked the callback later.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that
thought it
didn't
was
make
funny.
me laugh,
Oh,
but later it got a chuckle
I just
out
get
of
a
me.
kick out of Ving Rhames'
wait,
delivery.
that she
Right.
yeah.
Plus,
okay,
I love a
remember the joke.
callback. I will.
That's
always,
true.
I
Yeah.
will always fall for a callback.
Well, yeah, when
Familiar.
they yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they should have done it 3 times. That's
Yeah, I
really
know.
Yeah, really.
they made a mistake there. So she goes in. It's at this point. So she takes
In one
off
of my
her
favorite
jacket.
Aaron outfits.
Yeah, she's got this black sparkly
like,
croppy top, more than
like
a crop top.
Marianne
Like what
from
would you?
Gilligan's Island,
Yeah.
tied on top, and a matching little mini, and it's a good look.
Well,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm feeling like they're really nailing the exotic dancer wardrobe. But then I started
Totally.
to ask myself, is this an exotic dancer wardrobe or is this just normal attire for Florida?
Right.
Right.
And
It's
is
hard
this
to
Aaron's
say.
wardrobe? And if so, I think we have some answers about why she got fired from the FBI.
Right. Well,
I
she
think
I
it
had
had
love
more
the
to
idea that
do-
she was wearing this
constantly wearing
to the
crop top.
FBI.
Yeah, she's like, "Good morning, everyone. Coffee." So she shows up in her little black number and
doing like lunges at her desk.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron has to work out 7
Oh
hours.
my
a day.
God, I
I
know.
bet, just to keep that physique.
She just
Right.
like doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Just like a bat. Like
She's
usually
doing
she just like
squats.
turns off for a few minutes and comes back on and is like, lunges.
So what do we want to say about this first dance here? I mean,
I
there's
want
a
to
lot
say
of
that
info,
she asks Dilbeck if he likes the artist formerly known as Prince.
which made me laugh.
And then they couldn't get the rights to Prince, and they have the saddest sound-alike in the style.
So I was
of
confused
Prince.
about that. I was like, "Is it a Prince song?" Because this is,
Yeah.
if it is, this is the worst Prince song I've
It's
ever
an
heard.
awful Prince song. I've never heard this one.
It is
It's
a
so
sad
bad.
approximation of a Prince song.
Well, I was like-
sung, I think, by a woman.
You could have picked anyone else, you know?
I know.
There were
Well, I
so
think
many
they wanted the
others.
artist formerly known as Prince joke in there. Maybe was the
Yeah,
deal.
I think so.
But I
Because
was
he
like,
wanted her to strip to Dean Martin.
no, it was Dino.
Yeah.
It was Dino.
Yeah. Because they were probably friends.
Oh, I'm sure they
Yeah.
were probably old chums at the soda shop. Yeah, I was
Stripping
just
to
like,
Dean
she
Martin, that'd
can't
be
even
rough.
pick a good Prince song for God's sakes.
I
like,
think she could. And then, like, they didn't check with Prince. They didn't check with Milton Bradley. There was no clearance on this
Yeah,
movie.
no.
They made a lot of assumptions.
There
There was
we
like
need to get some
PA on
cutaways
set,
to that
like,
board.
Yeah, there's like a PA on set flipping through a clipboard. Like, I don't have the release here.
Yeah, there
I
is
just
no
I don't-
way we're
I-
getting
we
sexy
can't-
motherfucker for this movie.
We cannot use that song. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but like, she can sing. She does a pretty good impression of Prince. Just like have her do it live. It's fine. It's fine.
And then they press the demo button on
Yeah.
a Casio.
Exactly. There's somebody off stage just like singing.
I was like, seriously, I don't recognize this song. So weird.
Sexy song.
This must be a super B-side. This is a real deep cut. Well, during this dance, we get some information well, he gives her information. She's
got
like
the lint.
teasing him. Well, before we get, he's like telling her like, I know about your daughter. This is all very sexy pillow talk.
Yeah.
I know about your daughter. I can help you get your daughter back. And she's like, a little bird told me about it. So like, he's like giving her a lot of information. Meanwhile, an evil henchman is upstairs listening.
Yeah.
And he also in the skylight, and he also tells her that he has some of her fresh, hot lint. Ooh. And she gets
And at this point, she is tits out.
Yeah.
Yeah, tits out, and she's like, "You took my lint? How dare you?"
Well, no,
I liked this scene.
She takes her high heel and she's like, "Close your eyes, I have a surprise for you." And he does. And then she whacks the fuck out of his hand with a stiletto.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was
like,
funny.
"You ever invade my privacy again, I'll kill you."
Yeah.
You thought that was funny?
Yeah.
That was not
Look,
funny.
I am Team Demi. I liked that.
It's
that
Demi.
I liked that moment. I
It's
thought
short
she
for Demetria.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really? Demi was
It's like finding out Rihanna's real name is Robin, you know? Like, what? Yeah, her name is Robin Rihanna Fenty. And that's, like, why her new beauty line is named that. I read an article about it today. It was like,
way.
no white people know this. And I was like, I didn't. Good call.
I am a
It's
basic
true.
white
Blavity,
person.
I didn't.
So she at this point gets upset, puts her clothes back on, and decides to leave. And he invites her to come back
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
$5,000.
$5,000.
Again, would do. 100%.
And she's like, "And no sex."
I might for
And he's like,
$5,000.
"Yeah, no sex, I promise." But we all know.
Yeah,
And she knows.
we all
and everybody
know.
knows.
He's going to try and
I thought
put
that
his penis in her.
I thought that she was just gonna dance for $5,000.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
That-
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Is that what you, is that what you thought?
I'm naive. Yeah, sure. All right. So
And then basically she's back again.
she's back again. In the meantime, we didn't really get to this, but her ex-husband at one point assaults her in the car.
Oh, right. I completely
Yeah,
forgot
because
that happened.
she never lets anybody walk her to her car. Every time she goes
What the
outside,
fuck?
somebody's like,
And
"Can I
every
walk
time
you to
they're
your
like,
car?" And she's like,
"Please."
"No, I'm fine." And then like Jerry the creeper murderer approaches her, and then the next time her fucking ex-husband tries to cut her head off.
Right. Tries to cut her head off. Shad breaks his arm. So
Oh,
they've
yeah.
got- They've got Daryl for assaulting her and threatening her life with a knife. And still it's like, "Oh, but I better keep my nose clean because there's no way I'm getting custody." And
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
That part to me was super realistic. When the cop was like, "Yeah, until he kills you, we can't do anything," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, sounds about right."
Yeah.
I
That-
mean,
that really is the unfortunate thing
Right.
about it,
And-
is that you still wouldn't qualify for a restraining order, most
No,
likely, even if
they
he
wouldn't do
holds
anything.
a knife to your throat.
yeah, they're like,
It's a
"Oh, he just
bummer.
held a knife to your throat." Are you sure?
But did
Or
you
were
actually
was
get
it
cool with
was
that
it your
being
was
in
it
the
your time
movie,
of the
but
month
idea
and you were
of
maybe
Pandora
mistaken?
Peaks turning tricks on the side is like, that has no place here.
Well, I agree. The tone is a little off. I think Pandora Peaks' presence, it was part of the essentially the thing that kind of pointed it out as a bit of a freak show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think that's as far as they wanted to go with that. The husband almost, I mean, they treated
Daryl
the
being a
assault in a
dirtbag.
comedic way.
Yeah, but
They
Daryl being
never
a
took-
dirtbag going to Daryl being violent with
Yeah.
her
It was different.
was like,
It was-
that was a leap.
it
Which,
was
which
a
takes
bit-
us toward the original ending, but we'll
Right.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
What was the original ending?
I'll
You guys
get,
are the only one in this room that doesn't know. Oh my God.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll tell you.
there.
Yes,
only
it was a
secret I
bit
don't know.
extreme, to be honest with you. Frankly, I found their bouncing back between him being a domestic abuser
Oh, yeah.
and a buffoon to be very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hard for me. But yeah, in this case, they were going full domestic abuser. Like he was going to cut her throat, but they were still treating it comedically, which
Yeah.
was very bizarre and something we see commonly in other movies where
Right.
domestic abuse is treated as something comedic.
Yeah. And
Was
Go
it
ahead.
even illegal at this point? It was sometime in the 90s where spousal rape became a thing.
Yes, but that's just it.
Like-
We're not talking about sexual assault,
Right.
which there were some really draconian laws on the books.
Yeah.
We're talking about threatening her with a knife to her throat.
You're right. That is different. You're
With-
right.
and
Murder
they're no
is
longer
different
married.
in every
Yeah.
context,
But
no
I
matter
think
what.
we have all heard plenty of stories of women who were threatened with
Yeah.
their lives,
Absolutely.
and nothing was done about it until they were murdered.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't have the response of like, why doesn't Erin fight back
Yeah.
against him? And she has to be rescued by
Mm-hmm.
Shad. Normally, like when there is that knight in shining armor narrative, I get really
Yeah.
pissed off. But particularly when you're dealing with a protagonist facing off against their abuser,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they freeze up, makes perfect sense to me.
Oh, for sure.
Like, yeah, that tracks.
And I was glad to see his arm get broken, frankly.
Yeah, it was nice.
I was too. I was like, hell yeah, Shad, thank God you actually came out and followed her to her car
Right.
this time. Appreciate it.
He offered.
I
and
know,
she was
he
like,
offered and she
"I'm
was like,
fine."
I'm good.
She's
Yeah.
like, that snake looks real heavy. I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
Also, let's give another shout out to the sound guy for that amazing arm breaking sound effect.
Yes.
Awesome.
It was like
God.
so many celeries
He, like-
cracked.
I know.
The Foley artist on this movie
Good
was
Foley.
busy.
Good Foley.
Great
Like,
Foley.
I feel like he went to a butcher shop, like got some cow bones, like stomped on him in his parking lot for a while to get that sound, you know?
I think you've got a bright future in Foley.
So, I don't think
have
we.
some friends who do that.
Yeah,
So Erin agrees to come back.
she agrees to come back. Meanwhile, her ex-husband, who was in jail,
Yes.
they did
Couple
get her
days.
for that scuffle.
Yeah.
Ving Rhames didn't go to jail for breaking his arm, but
Nope.
whatever. So he goes to jail, but he gets out of jail, ends up at Rita's where she's fixing up his broken arm. I guess in jail they don't treat you for broken arms.
No, well, Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
Florida.
it is. You're right. It's Florida.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
It's
Totally.
like,
that
oh,
checks
just a
out.
broken bone, not a gunshot wound. You'll
Yeah.
be fine. You don't need a Band-Aid.
So she fixes what I assume is going to be a pretty misshapen arm.
Yeah. With a golf
Yeah.
club.
With
she
a
doesn't
golf
fix
club.
anything.
With
She
a bent
she
golf
puts
club.
a golf club and an
Hey,
ace bandage
it's
on
a
it.
Yeah.
Standard splint.
Yeah, sure.
And then she gives him some horse. Nope.
Nope.
Wolf tranquilizers.
wolf
No,
morphine.
wolf morphine.
Wolf morphine. Thank
from
you.
when
yes.
from when Kit had her cubs.
Yeah. It
I
just
actually
reminds
liked
me-
that actress
I
a
did
lot.
too.
Again, super over the top, but she she was
But it was
working
Florida,
she
man.
Was, she was quintessentially Floridian.
She really was.
I think her name is pronounced Saboan.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Saboan
She's
Fallon.
a good character
Yeah.
actress.
Yeah, she's great.
I like her. She did another movie with Demi Moore.
Which one?
Oh God, it was the two of them and Ellen Barkin. I can't remember the name of it. It was one of her more recent indies.
Okay.
She reunited with Rita.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rita.
Good. I'm glad they reunited.
Probably her only scene partner from this movie that she worked with again, including Rumor.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
guess they
bummer.
weren't in anything too. Well, not that she might have had a cameo or something. I bet Rumor had a cameo in some other films.
Maybe.
Homer probably just peeked out from a curtain and watched her work.
Yeah.
Told her she was beautiful later.
So she goes back. This time she doesn't tell Shad about it. She doesn't tell
Right.
anybody about it. In fact, when the cop, weirdly, this was all very strange. But first of all, I'm at this point starting to wonder, like, are you not concerned about you having all these public conversations with a police officer, given all the dead people and your custody battle, and leaves her daughter with the cop to watch the child when she goes to the boat to strip, and then comes and picks her up, but doesn't want to talk to him about it because now suddenly it's not okay to talk to the cop.
Right.
This is deep
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she goes to the boat. She tells her boss that she's got to run. She's going to take the late shift, leaves her daughter with a
Bunch of strippers.
bunch of strippers. And Shad
to play
knows
not
something's
shoots and not ladders.
right. Shad knows something's up. And he's trying to suss out what that is, but she's basically like, I can't talk about it. I don't want to talk to you about it. And then finally she's like, look, I'm going back to the boat. I'm not supposed to tell anybody about it, or they're going to put Angela in foster care.
Yeah. Apparently that's a matter of Congress.
Well, I
can
mean,
make
I'd be
happen.
more concerned about, I don't know, death.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be my main
I mean,
concern.
they like to kill everybody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like they've
Yeah.
already
That's
killed
their
two
go-to.
people
Right.
and like
That'd be what I'd be.
going on a boat with them. Like
Well, this time she wears like what I would consider to be the most stripper outfit she gets in this movie.
Oh,
Oh,
I would
for
say
sure.
the least strippery because it's
It's
a
like a-
cotton corset, and I can't figure out how it breaks away. Like, she is clearly not
That's fair.
intending to show tits tonight.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Fair.
so it's more of a
Okay.
burlesque outfit.
Okay, good point.
It
Good
is.
point.
But I
It's
did
got
love
lots
that
of
it had
feathers.
like
So many feathers.
I really want that like over outfit, the like little robe type deal, the silk robe with the feathers that she had on.
That was
I
nice.
just want to like wear that around,
With the
you know, like
thigh-high white pleather
yeah,
boots.
like when I'm taking my trash out, you
Yeah.
know, like I really just want to be wearing that and like an old work shirt, you know, and like taking my trash out, like
Love
really
it.
feeling
Love
myself.
everything
I mean, I
about it.
think that you
That's gonna
should.
be what starts getting
I
you
think
the
you should.
offers.
I hope so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're pretty much at the end here. So I guess we could just wrap this up. So she does a final dance for him, but she's got some plan in motion that nobody else knows about, but that she's leaving notes for people on mirrors with lipstick about.
And also calling
Yeah.
CNN and telling them to meet her.
oh yeah.
That's how that would go.
Dillbeck
That was- there was
at
that whole
Ye Olde
scene.
Sugar Factory.
I feel like this is a trick she learned while she was an FBI secretary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
thought she was looking for a job in
Oh,
this
she was a
scene.
secretary for the
And
FBI?
I-
So I've heard.
Man, yellow pages, answering machines, phone bills, long distance, and
Do you think
collect
the news
calls.
desk
Who
number is-
knew
do
we
you-
were at the end of an era?
I know. I know.
It is really a time capsule. Do you think the CNN news desk is in the yellow pages?
Oh, sure. In Florida.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
In Florida.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
I don't even think my friends who work for CNN know the CNN.
Well, I was
news.
going to say, like, I feel like CNN would be like, oh, it's in Florida? No, thanks.
Yes.
Never mind.
So Shab
Did somebody's arm get eaten?
tells Lopez about Aaron, and then they go off in search of Aaron.
Yes.
And take 2 strippers and Angelo
And a child.
with
Why
them.
do they take the
Nope.
baby with them? I don't understand.
She would have been safer at the Eager Beaver. She would have been safer with Francis Fisher. She would have been safer
Literally anyone.
anywhere.
Like, drop her off at Francis
Like,
Fisher's
just
house.
leave her at a Waffle House,
I-
and she's gonna be safer.
I mean, I feel like that's what my first thought would be if I were Demi and I saw I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
why
Why
the
did you
hell?
bring my daughter to this murder factory?
yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
and Pandora Peaks.
so she's dancing.
Why is Pandora Peaks here? What is she gonna do?
They were just like, we had her for an
Can't
extra
run, she'll
day.
get black eyes.
We had her for an extra day. We had to work her into a scene. Daryl finds them. He gets all hopped up on pills.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he finds Big
He's
Sugar.
addicted to pills.
He's addicted.
Mm-hmm.
Finds the boat.
Wolf morphine.
Savagely beats henchmen with a club.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, that beating was out of nowhere savage.
Right.
Not in keeping with the already uneven tone of this movie.
Yeah, I really thought Sleazebag was dead.
I did too.
And I am
Yeah.
not thoroughly convinced that he wasn't. And that became, I feel like we are moving into rewrite
We are
territory.
getting into the rewrites, and you're correct. That is part of the rewrites. We'll
I'm
we'll
so
talk to it.
fascinated.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, we'll I think we should tell the
Fascinated.
movie that happened, and then we'll
Okay.
talk about the movie that
Okay.
didn't happen.
I said no sugar. That line was so terrible, I actually got sad.
Oh God. So she Daryl's there because he wants his little one.
Yeah.
And this is when I think Dillbeck gets tipped off that Aaron's been talking to the cop, and like shit goes down, and she pulls a gun on them and takes them to the sugar factory.
Yes.
And
Because the
Dillbeck
big
says this
turning
is why
point
he
of her
voted
plan.
against gun control, which still seems totally in keeping with today.
This is why I
Yes.
voted for gun control, because I didn't want. I voted
Gun.
against gun control because I didn't want guns to
Yeah.
get in the wrong hands.
Yep.
Is what
they
it
could
says.
end up in the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, ugh.
And then she convinces the very nice Scientology reading limo driver to take them to the sugar factory and to remove the battery
And to
from the
remove-
other
yeah,
guy's
to
car.
take the car
Yeah.
battery out of the henchman's car.
Great ad for Pep Boys in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. So this is her big plan. She gets
See,
him down
they
there.
let their brand be used.
I know. They were like, I see this as
They
an
were like-
opportunity
Fuck
for
you,
this
our
is our
branding.
ta- this
Bradley.
is our
gonna make us
target
look
audience.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Car batteries, strippers.
Yes, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So her big plan is she's going to get Daryl to sign a waiver saying that she gets custody because they think that he's beaten this guy to death.
Yeah.
And then she convinces Dillbeck that she wants to seduce him. She gets him to take his pants off and records him confessing to all these murders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
Why
Do
does she
it.
need Daryl to sign custody over if he's clearly going to prison and she is the, lawful citizen co-parent?
Because she doesn't have a job.
She says
She has a job. She works at the Eager Beaver.
But she can't tell any judge that, lest they
I
judge
think her
her.
concern was that the child might have to spend some time in foster care while the courts work this out.
Yeah, because it would still be 6 months.
She didn't lose custody of her child.
Well,
she
she
just didn't
did.
have primary custody of her child.
No,
Daryl had primary custody and she had visitation.
Yeah, but
Right,
that's
but
not
you
the same thing.
yeah.
She doesn't have custody. She's allowed visitation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because if
I think
like
that's
if
how
he
it was working.
died
And she did
didn't have a
kidnap
job,
her.
yeah, she did kidnap her.
Yeah. So Rita might have gotten the kid or something. I don't know.
Oh God, Rita.
But
Oh,
Sharon
because
would
she
be
needs
fine.
someone to
She
take
can
care of
make
those cubs.
Volvos appear out of anywhere.
I know you're right. Rita's property is magical. Like it somehow is put on some magical land that makes cars appear and
It's
disappear.
the dump of requirement. Whatever you need at Rita's, you can find at Rita's.
I'm gonna have
That's
to go
true.
back and rewatch that scene.
I know, I
the
did not
disappearing
notice
truck,
that at
'cause
all.
I didn't catch it at all. Oh my god.
Well, basically at the end here, everybody converges, and cops and
at the sugar refinery.
at the sugar
Yeah.
refinery, the henchmen show up, but also so does the cop and the strippers and the kid and
and
Ving
Daryl.
Rhames. They're all there, and Daryl, and much like the ending to Three Men and a Baby, something that could otherwise be very violent is actually turned into something very comic.
Yeah.
Where a bunch of sugar dumps on the bad guys, rendering them useless.
Thanks to Daryl saving the day. If it hadn't
Yeah.
been for Daryl,
yeah, which I had
everybody
a big
would have been
problem
fucked.
with. I had a
Yeah.
big problem with that.
Aaron's
did
plan
too.
was terrible.
It wasn't
Except,
terrible, but it had some problems.
yeah, Aaron.
I liked that she was it had taken
Yes,
action at
but
the end.
she
and,
would have died.
well,
she
what do you
was
expect?
saved.
What do you expect from a former secretary of the
For the
FBI? I
FBI,
mean, what do you
yeah.
expect?
She was saved by the fact that Daryl thought that the sugar refinery dumper machine thing was a coffee machine.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what saved her, not what
I had a
Aaron
big
did, what
problem with
Daryl
that.
did. And that's not cool.
Well, if you think that's not cool, wait to hear what the real ending was. So
Oh yeah, and then next morning,
next morning they
Irish Lopez says, "Good luck, Aaron."
well, they get the press shows up just in time to catch them.
I'm sorry, this whole moment was just so Scooby Doo esque
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
It was like
Very.
the ending of a Scooby Doo.
Right.
They're all
Yeah.
stuck in sugar, just like heads.
It was
and the news runs in.
very strange.
Yeah.
like very strange.
It was very slapped together. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
And
well,
like
it is.
Aaron suddenly becomes very much a background character.
Yeah, for some reason.
For the whole climax of the movie.
I would say up until the point that everyone kind of shows up. That it's just like there's so many characters to deal
Yeah.
with.
She does get him on tape, though. That was smart. Good job.
She
Aaron.
got that, and then they
Yeah.
all ride off into the sunset. And
Yeah.
the limo driver almost dies. Somebody needs to check on that guy. He might have a
Oh, that's
concussion.
right. Dillbeck
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that person almost being murdered. You know what would be a great ending is if in the last moments she realizes that taping Dillbeck, she accidentally taped over her Annie Lennox tape.
And then she's
now
like,
she can't be a
"What
stripper
am
anymore.
I going
Oh
to
my god,
do?"
she's like, oh god, the whole B side is gone.
She's
What's I
like,
gonna do? Those are the only ones I liked.
No, all she has is the extended dance mix of Why.
oh no. I mean, I think that would be better, at least.
I'm so excited! I'm so excited! I'm so scared!
Welcome to Nervous Breakdowns. This is the part of the show where we read bad casting breakdowns culled from the depths of the internet. Woo! These are real casting breakdowns that
Oh, boy.
you can submit for if you are interested. We don't out the production company or the name of the film, but you know who you are.
As a screenwriter, I feel really horrified and also really vindicated by this. Because I have seen the casting breakdowns for my movies, and And sometimes they take liberties.
Oh, and you're
where
like, I did not write that.
where they're like, I'll
she did
write a
not
very
have to
nuanced, like 65-year-old woman who's like taking a chance on love again, and then they'll be like, sassy grandma type.
Sassy Graham, and you're like, no,
Like,
that is not
dude,
what I'm
I'm
doing.
gonna punch you in the kidneys. What?
See, I've read some of your scripts, and I know that you're not a type of person either that introduces a woman character as she floats gorgeously onto the screen, breasts dangling from her body,
Breasts
glistening. You know, like you're not that type of person who introduces a character like that. So it's like it's hard to take your scripts and make it sassy grandma.
Like,
You know,
how did she become a sassy grandma?
like when?
All right, Hillary, let's let you read. What do we got here?
So this one is a 16 millimeter short film about a young man who has to choose between the companionship of an artificially intelligent robot or the new girl at the office that finds him attractive.
We've all been there.
I mean,
Right.
haven't we?
This role is unpaid. And then should I read Annie or Claire? Which one are
I
we
think
reading?
you should read those and also read the
Both
man's
and
part.
Ryan. Okay.
And
all
yeah.
right. Whew, buckle in, guys.
Sure,
All right.
they're brief.
Annie, lead female, 18 to 30. Annie is is an artificially intelligent product built in a lab at Opus Industries. Annie is handpicked by Ryan to off the website. There are millions of possible combinations that Ryan could choose from, and all of what he chose is Annie. What makes Annie specifically unique is her ability to feel emotion. This is not supposed to happen.
No. ...
No, actually, it's just ...
Oh yeah, that's not enough dots.
It's not a full ellipsis.
No. It's like they took another sentence out of there. They were like, sexy grandma type. No,
No,
take
not
that out,
for
take that
this
out,
one.
take that
Not
out.
for this one.
Okay, and then we have Claire, lead female, 18 to 30 years. I bet that this is the new girl in the office, guys.
She must be.
I have a feeling. Oh, yep. Claire
18 to
is the
30
new
is
girl
such
in the
an age
office.
range. I get
Isn't
so
it?
sick of
Isn't it?
seeing that.
Are they really going to
Picture
select
yourself-
someone that's 30 though?
Yeah,
Are they?
but
Yeah,
picture
Are they?
yourself at 18 and then picture yourself at 30.
Quite a
and
difference.
ask
Quite a
yourself if there was
difference.
any difference. Go on. I'm
No,
sorry.
totally the
Please
same.
continue with casting.
She's a spunky 30-year-old.
Spunky.
Spunky.
One of my favorite
She
adjectives.
is spunky and outgoing and eager to make new friends in her new work environment. Ryan and Claire are two of the youngest in the office. Not going to hire a 30-year-old, guys. Not going to.
Not gonna.
Nope.
So Claire tries to latch on to Ryan.
Of course.
Yep. She's strong, confident, and the type of girl to get you to dance when you don't want to.
So she's a manic pixie dream girl.
Manic pixie
Yeah.
dream
Yeah.
girl. I
And
love
she's
it.
And
like
she's
one of
strong
those-
but clingy.
Yeah, and she's one of those Jennifer Lawrence 22-year-old, 30-year-olds.
Yes.
Oh yes, a
God,
wise
Julie,
30-year-old.
please
Yep,
just-
nailed
I
it.
hate that she's cast in Mother. I'm sorry. I want to see it.
I know.
But cast against Javier Bardem, who's like 17 years her senior,
I know.
I'm just like,
Not
that's
only
just
that, but
disgusting.
like, I love her.
I love
Like,
her, too.
I
love her.
love her.
I do,
But
too.
like
It's just
American Hustle, Joy, this one,
right.
like
Why are you being cast as someone who
I thought she was
much
great in
older
American
than you.
Hustle.
I did too.
Oh,
I thought she
okay.
was
Oh, I
fantastic.
think she's
didn't see
fantastic.
I
Joy.
also
all of
thought
it.
she was 10 years too young to be
Right.
playing the role she was
Well,
playing.
in that
agree.
movie, I think that was the point, was that she was so young
But
as his wife. That's what I
think
thought
that's
was
in a lot
the
of
point.
movies right now. I think there are a lot of women in Hollywood who can play those roles, and Jennifer Lawrence, who's my age, is getting cast in these roles
Yeah,
to play
that's
right.
35-year-old women. And
Yeah.
Okay,
like,
you're
like,
right.
Anne Hathaway talked about it. You know, she
Right.
said
Good
that when
point.
she turned 30 and all of a sudden, like, the offers significantly reduced.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, I
Right?
can't even be mad about this because I've been taking advantage of it for the last 8 years.
exactly.
Well, I actually heard a joke the other day that after playing Javier Bardem's wife and mother, that her next role is going to be like Sally Field's sister.
Yeah.
In the next
yeah, no kidding.
next film.
I literally had
That
a whole
is the
conversation with
thing.
Christo about
Yeah.
how I don't want to see this movie just because of the casting choice to cast them opposite each other. And it's
Right.
just there
D-
was
how- don't you dare do the reverse though.
Oh, God.
Don't you dare do
don't
it.
you dare cast a young man with an older woman.
Unless
you
that
do
is
it.
the
Unless it's-
entire plot
Yep,
of the movie.
unless
Yep.
it's the plot and it's a
Unless
comedy.
it's-
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so let's back to this breakdown.
Oh,
This is my
patriarchy.
favorite.
You're my
Because
favorite.
we've
Okay.
already cast Jennifer Lawrence as the new girl in the office.
Yes.
we're
So
done.
Jennifer
Obviously.
Lawrence,
Yes,
there we go.
as the 18-year-old new girl in the office who's actually 30.
Uh-huh.
Ryan, lead male, again 18 to 30 years old.
He'll be
Oh,
30 though.
But here's the first sentence.
Harrison
Ryan
Ford.
is an early mid-20s male.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's early mid-20s, we know these ladies are younger than that.
Oh, yeah,
Matt
of course.
Damon.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of hobbies anymore. Ryan is a normal guy, but closes himself off to most people. He went to art school, but he took an entry-level job at a telemarketing office to pay the rent and his impending student loan debt. He isn't a weirdo or creep. He's just lonely.
That's my favorite line right there. He isn't a weirdo or a creep. He's just lonely. Like they have to like apologize for the whole plot of the movie by saying that one thing.
Not only that, but this actually does piss me off because it's a common thing in breakdowns. That character history, nuance, and motivations are always listed with male characters.
Oh, yes.
And then with female characters, it's always about what she looks like and what her attitude is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how she relates to the male character.
Right. And what she does for the male character.
Oh, yes.
It's always, she's Ryan's boyfriend. She's bubbly and cute.
Right.
And like
She has a
sometimes goes and visits her
freewheeling,
nana.
carefree spirit.
She brings him meaning in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like that, you're going to love this.
Oh, boy.
So Topher's going to read our next one.
All right.
Unfortunately, I had to block out the name, which is unfortunate because the name is great.
That is
but-
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
God. Sometimes the names are just great.
Yeah.
it's a good one, guys. Okay. In this bizarre tale, there are sick-minded criminals, crazy-headed cops, but no one more dangerous than
Redacted.
this character. He shall decide if the sick of mind shall be healed by his expertise, or if he will play with the minds for fun and make monsters out of man.
This is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, it's epic, you guys.
Do we list the pay for this?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, this project is $100 a day.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean, at least they're getting paid.
right. So I want you to know,
People are
Decent
getting
for an
working.
indie film.
Yeah.
Small budget indie.
It's 28 days. No, I'm just kidding.
So,
Bring your own wardrobe.
doctor, lead, male, 30 to 40 years, a master of mind control, a whiz of science and anatomy. This role requires an actor who can laugh, cry, and change personalities on the flip of a dime.
So acting, you might say.
Acting.
You mean James McAvoy in that movie that he did 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Sharon, lead, female. Beautiful young woman who is lost in life, but her beauty makes up for it. Must be a very sensitive actress who can span different emotions with the flip of a coin. Lots of coin flipping.
So much coin flipping.
So much coin flipping.
The movie.
Okay. I'm back. Will be seen in undergarments. When one views this beauty, we wonder if shit.
Now I'm picturing David Dilbeck reading this breakdown.
Yeah, I can deal back this a little. When one views this beauty, we wonder from where she came and where she will go. Mystery is natural to her demeanor. Dichotomy and contradiction comes natural to this vixen. If you look at her in her eyes, you become instantly hypnotized. In love with her, to say the least. She controls your soul.
Oh, God.
Physical traits. Beautiful figure and face. Graceful configurations of her well-proportioned head.
My favorite part. In order to submit, you must have a well-proportioned head.
I'm out. I'm out.
Like, what is that even? Is there anything in that that's a playable action? I want to know as an actor.
Dichotomy and contradiction comes natural to this vixen. That's my favorite line, especially because it's dichotomy.
Dichotomy, yes. Yeah.
Dichotomy.
There are other players.
Oh, yes.
Young detective supporting female.
Female. That's
18
very
to 22
progressive.
years.
That makes sense as a detective.
Right.
You know, you make detective really quickly out of the police
Yep.
academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18 years old. She has spunk.
Oh, 18-year-old detective. It makes a ton of sense.
Filled with energy to get anything done. She is cute and has a mouth on her. She never hesitates to say what's on her mind. She also has a very nice figure. Will be seen in a bathing suit.
Oh my god.
I think that's pretty much the end
Oh
of it.
my god.
Yeah.
The rest of them are just your standard blah, blah, blah.
Although
roles.
I do love male detective number 1, male 25 to 33. One look at him and we know he's a detective.
I know, right?
Yeah, but
That guy
But
looks...
the female supporting detective, they're like, she's seen in a bathing suit. You gotta be hot still.
like,
my
that guy looks
God.
detectively.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Jesus Christ.
These are... We did not make this up. This is a legit...
Yeah.
casting breakdown that you can submit for.
$100 a day if you have a beautiful figure and graceful configurations of a well-proportioned head.
Yeah, must have well-proportioned head.
Good luck, Sharon.
Welcome to Plug It Up. This is the part of the show where we talk about what we're up to and what our guests are up to so that you can find out all the wonderful things that we're doing and our guests are doing. Topher, why don't you start?
Okay. My new play, Morningside, for those of you in Atlanta, you can see it through November 16th at Georgia Ensemble Theater.
Awesome.
It is 9 women at a baby shower, inspired by all of the conversations I've had with female friends where I have never once heard one of them say, I'm going to a baby shower and I'm so excited. And so I wanted kind of the worst case scenario for a baby shower, and it's so much fun, and it is so vicious. It's like Glengarry Glen Ross at a baby shower.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah. And there's terrible acts of violence and
Oh my
and
God.
lots of emotional warfare.
And it passes the Bechdel test.
Yes, oh, very much so.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm very, very excited about that, and you can see that through the 16th.
Awesome.
My new movie for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, A Gift to Remember, a Christmas romance about a woman who falls in love with a man with amnesia.
Oh my God, I'm so into
premiere-
this.
I know, it's so much fun. It premieres on December 2nd on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries and will run throughout the holiday season. So you and your mom, please check that out.
I love it. We'll have to watch that.
I'm gonna watch that with my mom. I'm gonna curl up in her bed.
I'm watching
old
it with my
school
mom. I'm so
and
excited.
Watch it.
I'm back on stage for the first time in quite a while.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
exciting.
very excited. I am, again, for people in Atlanta, I'm taking over the Santaland Diaries at Horizon Theater.
Shit, I did not know that.
man.
That's so great.
Well, they announced it back at the beginning of October.
I know.
And where have you been?
I wear my bed. I'm excited. That's so exciting.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's great.
So yeah, it's
That's a great
me
show.
on stage with some hardworking sidekicks doing what amounts to a 90-minute monologue by David Sedaris, and it is so much fun. And we run November 19th, I believe, through New Year's Eve, and there's like 2 shows on Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday. I will be doing nothing but this show for the rest of 2017.
All right.
And then listeners in Chicago, Raleigh, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Lawrence, Kansas, Columbus, Georgia, St. Louis, Missouri, and Dallas, Texas. Check your local theater listings because I have a production of Perfect Arrangement in your city sometime in the next 6 months.
That's
Go
fucking
see
great.
Perfect
Go see it.
Arrangement. Yes.
Yes. Crushing it.
That's
Having
awesome.
fun.
Yes.
Keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. Okay. All right. Oh, and do you have any social media? Is there any do you get into that people can
I'm
so they
on
can
the
stay
Twitter
updated?
at Topher Payne.
Yeah.
And I am on the Facebook at Hey Topher. And I'm on Instagram at Topher Writes, TOPHERWRITES.
And then we can keep up to date
Yeah.
about all the great
And see
things.
pictures of my cat and pictures of my
Topher
dog.
has a great Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, I really love it. It's like all cats and photos of coffee and writing.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
pretty much
awesome.
it.
That sounds
It's so great.
so
It's very tranquil and
My life. Yeah.
it's so nice. It's very tranquil. And then occasionally there's a surprise engagement announcement on there, which is really fucking cool to experience. And you're like,
I did my
That was
engagement as an escape room.
brilliant.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
so cool.
All right, Hillary. What have we got to? What do we have to plug with Critical Crop Top today?
Well, Critical Crop Top is super excited to announce that we have a brand new fiscal sponsor for 2018. Woo! We will be fiscally sponsored by Fractured Atlas, and we are super excited.
Yep,
so
we're really excited.
All of your donations, whether they are monetary or in kind, will continue to be tax
Tax-deductible.
deductible. Thanks to Fractured Atlas's support. If you are interested in donating to Critical Crop Top to keep our programming of our sketch shows, our films, our workshops coming up in 2018.
Yeah, we've got some workshops planned.
And all of the podcasting that you listen to and love. If you are interested in supporting that, please go to criticalcroptop.com/donate for more information.
Yes.
Awesome.
And thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy that tax deduction.
Yeah, take that tax deduction. You deserve it.
And if you have a small business that wants to sponsor us, hit us up, bro.
Yeah.
We got even more perks for you.
We got perks. We got tiers.
so many tears.
So many tiers.
Not the kind that you cry to your eyeballs.
Nope. Thank you, Topher, for being on this show.
This was awesome. Can we close with our interpretation of a royalty-free Prince song just when we get there?
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Why not? Let's
All
go
right,
for
give me
it.
a beat.
Oh my God, I can't do that.
Sexy song. Hey. Woo. Makes me want to take off my clothes for a congressman.
You can subscribe to this podcast, Feminine Mistake Podcast, on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on Podbean. And if you like us, you could rate and review us, and we'd appreciate it. Hey. Thanks for joining us. And be sure to follow us on the social medias. You can find us on Facebook as Feminine Mistake Podcast at Feminine Mistake Pod, or you can find us as Critical Crop Top, as we are Critical Crop Top at Critical Crop Top on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And there's a
fire truck.
There's a fire truck
That's a
in the
fire truck.
background.
Fire truck.
Podcasting in the city. Should we hold for it, or should we just be real about it?
End
Yeah.
on
There
the
is
fire
a
truck, to
fucking
be
fire
honest.
truck.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, if you ever find yourself in a legal jam, the Eager Beaver is always looking for new hires. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. That's to sum up.
I heard the
To
Flesh
sum
Farm
up.
just lost a dancer.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. And a snake.
And if you take up exotic dancing, for God's sake, come up with a stage name. It's a chance to be creative.
It's true. Be who you always
And-
wanted to be.
And follow the manager at the Eager Beaver's advice. The customers like it when you dance to fast music.
Actually, he was right about that.
He was
He
right
was
about
not right
that.
about the cream corn, but he was
not.
right about
He was
that
right
one
about
thing.
that. Yeah.